Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 280.5 of the Triple Shots of Moods and Horror podcast is coming at you live and direct with the Mexicans.
Is this not episode 81?
No, 280.5.
What?
Went over this.
Since when?
How we, dude? Okay.
Last year we did it as 81, or
No, we didn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking sure it was episode 0.5. For sure it was. I even remember making a joke about that.
Let's go to...
I'm pretty fucking sure. Anyways, with the Mexicans, also known as JP. And of course, we have Mr. Saucedo, also known as Tyler. And returning is
my 18-year-old
the Freemason, a.k.a. Mason Jar. And I'll be your host from the foreign land of Canada, home of the 51st state. The toxic offender, Moodz. Yeah. Now, that was the weirdest intro ever. Now, generally...
I ruined your intro.
I would get super pissed off at that because that used to fucking happen all the time. I'm not going to mention any names. But I used to get so fucking mad when I got interrupted in my intros. But anyways, yeah, JP, you're an idiot because we definitely did a 0.5 episode for the last year-end show. I'm pretty positive. I know we did a 0.5.
I think you're wrong, but let me see.
I know we did a 0.5 for another top 10 list that we did. I don't know which one. It was an extended.
Yeah, we used to do it for like the retro ones, but then we started this new format where we're previewing the new year with.
Okay, well, we can call this episode 281. It's not like this is written in stone. I mean, it just made my whole intro pointless, but kind of funny actually. But.
Okay, so we didn't do an extended list last year.
So what was the episode that we did a 0.5 for?
It sucked.
What was the top 10 show that we did a 0.5? Because it literally wasn't extended.
It would have been 75.
Did we?
Yeah,
okay, so here it was. It was top 10 of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2022. So episode 234 was top 10 horror films, and then episode 235 was extended list / 2023 preview. So
okay.
I was.
Yeah, well, it definitely wasn't last year because none of us could barely even make a top 10, let alone a fucking extended list. So, Okay, that makes sense. But we did do a 0.5 episode, and it was for one of the top 10 years.
It's the retro. It's the like 91.
Yeah. Okay, well, that makes sense. Whatever. I mean, episode 281, because there is a different purpose for it besides the extended list. It's actually to preview 2025, which kind of makes sense. Okay, so welcome to episode 281 of the Triple Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. I'm not doing that again. So, But we might as well just continue the same order. But what is the order? Because we're missing, obviously, a couple participants here. Mr. Parker.
It would be me, Mason, Moodz, JP.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, Parker's out and Tony. So yeah, it's Tyler. What was the order again?
Tyler, Mason, Moodz, me.
Right. Okay. All right. So anyways, yeah, so that's what we're doing here. We're just doing our extended list 25 to 11 because 2024 was an absolute banger of a year. Like, it's pretty crazy to think that, like, even compiling this top 25 list, I was still cutting movies from it that could have made my top 25. Now, that's a really damn good year in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had these in recent years. I think it was like 17 or 18. When there was a couple of those years where I was cutting films from top 25 also. But this one I don't remember a year that I bought so many films from the actual current year because I love so many movies from this year. It was an absolute great year, man. So
yeah, I noticed on your update you had a ton of movies like from this year.
Yeah, even Simon Explosive Action said, "Wow, he's like a lot of modern indies from." I'm like, yeah, I know, man. It's just one of those weird years. Like, I generally try to buy my top 10, but the thing is, the reason why there's so many is because I have 6 movies in my extended list that were actually in my top 10 at one point in the year. So from number 16 down to they were all in there at one point. So, with that said, I mean, what do you do? Like, I mean, I got to pick those up. Those are good films. So, yeah, but, well, without getting too long-winded and stuff, we might as well just get into the extended, list here. Tyler, do you want to start us off? I mean, I will give a little. I'm not going to talk extensively about these. We're just kind of in the titles.
We can't, that's because it's like 15.
Exactly. We
More.
don't need to extend this up. This is more about just kind of showcasing what didn't make the top 10 list and then getting into the 2025 preview and give our thoughts on there. So we'll probably spend most of the time in there. But anyways, Tyler, start us off.
All right. At number 25, I had a film that didn't make anybody's list, but I thought it was pretty good, and that is the Hulu exclusive What You Wish For. This movie was can't really even tell you like the exact thing that it's about because it's kind of a good plot point that you don't really want to give away. That's one of the better parts of the movie. But essentially, it's about this dude that that's in trouble with the mob that goes to a remote to visit his friend from culinary school. They're both chefs in this remote area, and his friend kills himself like while he's there, and he assumes his identity, and he bites off more than he can chew. Where you get the name "What You Wish For." Yeah, this movie kind of did something really clever with its subject matter that I really haven't seen like in this particular subgenre. Nick Stahl does a really good job in this. He's the lead in this. Uh, yeah, it's closer to like it's more of like a horror thriller. There's not it doesn't like have like jump scares or anything like that, but it's a good little story. I think there's definitely some conveniences in it that's a little goofy. But overall, there's nothing like really like that's like crazy to complain about, and I thought it was really good. I definitely watch it again. I'll start out with 6.5.
Yeah, I really wanted to watch that one, man. I was getting to the point where I couldn't find it anywhere to rent it. Like there was nowhere to rent the movie. I was getting so pissed off. So I did a little fucking Amazon, and the Blu-ray was $38. And I'm like, no, not happening.
Hell no.
I'm like,
I don't understand. So, isn't it a Hulu original?
That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
So I thought that would just be Disney Plus for you guys.
It wasn't on there. I looked. Like I have
it
Disney
on MB.
Yeah, so I watched
commercials.
I went to Disney Plus because you mentioned that, and I was like, oh yeah, Hulu and Disney Plus. So I went to Disney Plus. It wasn't on there. At least on the Canadian one. So, which doesn't really fucking surprise me because we all know how that shit goes with Netflix, even Shudder. Like there's films you guys have on Shudder that we don't have. Netflix,
well,
obviously.
Shudder, it makes sense because a lot of films they get are stuff that's like, they're purchasing rights for the North American release or the US release. But like an original, like the whole Tubi original and Hulu original, that usually means it's produced in-house. So it's like that's weird.
Yeah, so speaking of Tubi originals, which was the which was Lowlives. That's the irony of me not being able to watch that on Tubi is that's a fucking Canadian movie filmed in my backyard. Like it's filmed like where I live. It's fucking crazy.
So it was on Apple TV in Canada.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, and I don't have Apple TV, which is people always ask me like, you don't have Apple TV because like I have Apple everything except for Apple TV, so I don't fucking know. But I just don't feel like it's worth it for me because a lot of there's not too much stuff on there that I can't find other places. So I'm like, what's the point? I already have a lot of streaming services anyways. You got fucking Netflix. You got, Shudder. I got fucking
I'm
Disney
done with
Plus.
streaming services.
I got too many things going on. Like, it's ridiculous, dude. So anyways, Mason.
My number 25. It's cool that this is
Did Tyler rate that? Sorry, Mason.
6.5.
Okay.
You started with 6.5? Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, my number 25. It was originally when I first saw it, I thought it could be in my top 10. So again, that's just another comment on the greatness of the year. But at 25, my pick was Oddity. Has a really cool opening. It seemed to kick off the final dash of the year in watches. When I watched it at the beginning of October, I was like, this one's dope and hope there's a lot more dope movies to come. And there certainly was, but this one was pretty creepy. It had a cool little house and just like who could sleep in that house? It was so creepy. But yeah, fun movie that I give us.
Sweet. Oddity. Nice.
What'd you say you gave it?
7.5.
Nice.
Cool.
I was honestly surprised it didn't make a list on it.
I know, me too, actually. I thought because it was one of the more popular films from this year, the ones that like you heard about, people talk about a lot.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah, that's me. All right. So coming in number 25 is a movie I haven't really heard anyone really talk about this year, which is interesting. And it's a film I actually saw very, very early in the year from what I remember. So we're going to start in the land down under with an Australian film. And I think I actually have a copy right here, so we'll give a visual. And that's Monolith.
Oh, yeah.
Did anyone watch this one?
No, I heard about that one early in the year. I just never got to it.
It's really good, man. It's about actually our lead actress is the girl that played in Evil Dead Rise. What's her name?
Oh, I thought Caitlin Devers was in this movie.
Lily Sullivan. Yeah, so she's also in Evil Dead Rise. So that was kind of cool when I was watching. Like, oh, that's a girl from Evil Dead Rise. But
oh yeah, I thought it was a different girl.
So she plays like she's like a journalist who's basically her career's like on the fritz. Anyways, so she decides to start up like this investigative reportive podcast to kind of like kickstart her career because some shit went down and it didn't go well for her. Anyways, she starts investigating like this conspiracy theory, like this kind of like this alien conspiracy theory, and it just kind of she ends up going down this like crazy rabbit hole and shit like that. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I'm gonna leave it at there because the less you know, the better it kind of is. Really good movie though, man. Like I thought it was really thrilling and I didn't really know where it was going to go and stuff like that. And this one was actually really high for me a lot of the year. But then as the year progressed, it was like, holy shit, dude, this like banger after banger after banger. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And I mean, partly the reason why it's so low on the list also for a film that I actually purchased is because I watched it so long ago. Like I would actually really like to rewatch this because I like, conspiracy theory shit. I'm not a conspiracy theorist myself. I just love watching shit based on conspiracy theories. And I love, kind of going into it and stuff, but I don't take it serious, man. I really don't. But I like the whole alien stuff and shit like that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, good film. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Starting with eights.
Damn.
Sweet. Okay, my number 25 is a film that I was pretty interested in checking out when it got announced because honestly I just never thought it would happen, and that is Beetlejuice aka Beetlejuice 2.
Really interesting. I never thought this would be on a top 25 or on your top 25 list. It's crazy.
Really?
I can see that.
I mean I'm a huge fan of the original Beetlejuice. I think that this one I actually 100% agree with Moodz about just too much stuff going on in it. But I think, and it's funny because I said on Letterboxd that this is one of the rare cases where it almost feels like it would have been better as a TV show instead of a movie.
Yeah, I was actually even surprised you picked that up.
Yeah.
When I saw that.
But I mean, I think that the cool things about this movie outweigh the negatives for me. The fact that it even exists is pretty hype. And then I also think like the Dietz girls, like all three of them did like such a great job. Specifically the mom, Delia.
Yeah.
She did really
O'Hara.
good.
You always get
feeling
that.
exactly like she did in the original.
Yeah.
And I really like Jenna Ortega as well. But I think overall it's just fun to revisit that world. It's not perfect. The one cool thing about the original Beetlejuice is how much like practical effects are in the movie. There's a lot more CGI in this one. But it would Michael Keaton didn't miss a beat with Beetlejuice. Like
No.
he's exactly the same, So it was fun to revisit. And although there might be a few more better movies than Beetlejuice that I left off the list, I think that this one was fun, and I kind of wanted to highlight it a bit. So I gave it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
In my opinion, I think what I would have done with Beetlejuice. So if you had all these ideas in there, I think what I would have done, I would have cut down the whole father aspect of the film to a very minimum. Just highlight that he's not there anymore. Cut out the narrative or the storyline with Jenna Ortega's kind of boyfriend thing. Just really condense that down.
Yeah,
but keep.
I wanted more of that. Honestly, it's just the father.
Yeah, I actually liked that aspect of it a little bit more. That was actually felt more like Beetlejuice to me than the Beetlejuice like plot line of him wanting to marry Lydia still and
Mhm.
his like ex. I felt like the ex was super underutilized too. It
Yeah.
felt like it just felt too scatterbrained. Like there's too much stuff going on.
Well, see, like the thing is, they have this really good setup with the Monica Bellucci character, you know, like the ex-wife of Beetlejuice, and I like the whole aspect of like her coming after him and stuff. And then you got William Dafoe's character who's like, you know, hunting her, and then you got. I wish that was the main story, like that whole kind of triple threat thing that's all going on there. I wish that was what was going on the entire film. I feel like every time it cut away to the other narrative, other parts of the narrative, I was like, fuck, man, I want more of this. Like the Defoe character, the Monica Bellucci thing, it was fucking awesome, dude. They really underutilized. They set it up where you think it's going to be more of like the Monica Bellucci thing, and then they don't really go to it a whole lot. It's really odd how they do that. They set it up so well with like, there's a great cameo in the beginning of the film where someone gets dead. I love that shit, man. Like he's one of my favorites, all-time favorites. I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, but because I don't even know if he was even credited or anything on it, so it could be like supposed to be a surprise. But I love that shit, man. But I wish they had done that kind of core thing and stuck with that. But yeah, too many moving parts, man. But it's a fun watch though. It's a fun watch.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun to revisit that world.
Right. All right, Tyler.
Oh wow, we already are back to me. All right, yeah, this was my next one is a film that got a little bit of hype early in the year before all the big hitters started coming out and kind of stayed near the top of my list. That's Robert Morgan's Stop Motion. This was one of the movies this year that really like made me like squirm. There's there's a lot of good practicals in this movie too. And there's one part about like a mass in like somebody's body.
There better be fucking practicals in a movie called Stop Motion.
Yeah, but Stop Motion is really interesting. That's a movie I would definitely like to watch again. It's basically it's kind of like your person like losing touch of reality and like going insane, like the artist going insane with their work. This is like an artist that uses, as you can imagine, stop motion animation, and it's just like they start losing their memory and like losing touch of reality. And it's just a movie that goes down that type of rabbit hole. But yeah, there's a lot of really good practical effects in this. It's a really interesting movie. I think that's why it like stayed to the top of my list.
Yeah.
Just because there's not really like many movies like this in terms of the story we're trying to tell. But yeah, that's something I thought it was really good. Like this would have been like contending for like my 2023 list last year. I probably would have made it, but it would have been at least like a contention watch last year.
Oh, it would have been on my list last year.
Yeah, I thought this was good. I would definitely watch this again. 'Cause it's been like a long time that I only kind of remember like a couple like specific like points about the movie. But it's definitely an interesting watch. I think most people would at least would like this movie. I don't think anyone would just like hate this movie. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with my 6.5s for now.
Sweet.
Cool. Mason.
Number 24 is one of a few movies this year where I took an edible before I saw it, and it was really crazy. So I was like, one night I was like, I'm going to take this edible, and I'm going to watch this movie called Grave Torture.
That's a fucked up movie to watch on fucking... Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude.
Don't you have to read this? I don't remember.
Yeah, it is foreign language, but it didn't really handicap.
Yeah, it's from Indonesia.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was dubbed or not.
No.
Yeah. But really intense fucking movie, and maybe because of edible, maybe not. Lots of creepy visuals, creepy fucking tunnel. Still don't really believe in hell, but that was quite terrifying to watch.
I didn't see that one.
It's and I give it an 8 out of 10, man. We're at 8s.
Sweet.
Nice. All right, number 24 is this one right here. Man, I really liked the first movie.
Full show in movies.
Because I have them sitting here because I did my update. That's why. So Winnie the Pooh,
Blood
and Honey,
camera, boys.
Part 2. Yeah, dude, this movie was fucking pretty fun, man. Like I said, the first one was a little bit more low budget. This one's definitely higher budget, more polished, but it also adds in a bunch more characters. I mean, this one you got Winnie the Pooh, obviously Tigger, Piglet, Owl. They
look really good too.
Yeah, dude, and
I like it.
It's a bloody, gory, mean spirited. I like the narrative in this though too, because you really have to you have to see the first one to see this one though, because given what the narrative is, it's like totally bad shit. I'm like, what the fuck? But it expands the story and it adds shit to it, which I really like and stuff like that. And it kind of sets it up to like, get into this whole Pooniverse, which I think is going to be really fun. I'm really excited to see more of these characters and more films like this because, you know, say what you will. I mean, a lot of people I watched a lot of videos on their top lists and worst of the year and stuff, and this one made a lot of the worst of the year. For I don't know why,
Fucking typical.
because I don't think it's a horrible movie. Like it's not made horribly.
No, it's not, and it's like that scale. Okay, like you have your big budget shit, right? And
Yeah.
then you have your no budget shit, and then you have your indie shit, and you have your high level indie shit. This is like it's closer to the lower budget indie shit stuff, but
Yeah.
it's high enough to where it doesn't feel completely cheap. Like the
Yeah.
first one felt a little more cheap than this one. I
Yeah.
think, and I think that a lot of people just like scoff at it because of what it is.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's an exploitation film. At the end of the day, it's an exploitation.
That's what I was thinking. It's
The-
kind
the-
of a movie that's like cool to shit on.
I noticed a lot of people didn't even check out the second one because they hated the first one so much, and I think that the word on the street is right now, more people are kind of coming around like, okay, because like the first Winnie the Pooh movie did so well that they were able to get this kind of budget and, you know, kind of amp it up a lot, and you know, like
I
that
saw
says
the first one in the theater.
yeah, like that says a lot about it. So, I'm like I said, I'm just really curious to see what they do with these characters and just expand this universe. I think it's a really neat idea, and I'm so glad that these things are like all public domain now and shit because like we're just this is awesome to see. This is fucking awesome
Yeah,
to
I
see
think
these
the next
characters
one
in
is the
for
Peter
adults.
Pan one.
Yeah,
So,
so
there's a Peter Pan. I didn't even know about that. I know there's a Mickey Mouse one like right around the corner.
Yeah, but I mean the next
the
one
old
in the
Mickey.
Pooniverse.
there was a Mickey Mouse movie this year,
okay.
wasn't there? Like it
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
I heard it was
Mousetrap
awful.
or something like that. And then I think there's one called like Steamboat Willie next year.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
because
one
it's
I
the
heard
old
about.
Mickey Mouse, right? Like the '50s one. It's like the old. That's the one that's
Yeah.
public to me. Okay, yeah. So I heard that Mickey Mouse movie was pretty shitty. So I didn't actually get. I actually kind of forgot about it until I was thinking about the Pooniverse and stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah. So that was there. But I remember even Matt saying, "You and your horror movies," he was saying that it was pretty shitty, and I'm like, if Matt's telling you that a movie like that is shitty, it's got to be fucking bad, like because he has and he knows he's got interesting taste.
That's how I kind of felt about the Mean one a little bit, which is like the other public domain
Yeah, right.
movie. Like we saw a wave of these things when
Mhm.
they hit public domain. I like that. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's cool
Yeah.
that people could take these like known IPs and make movies out of. Yeah, of course there's a lot of shit that comes with it, but I think the Pooniverse is honestly like worth looking forward to.
Yeah. Well, so far, I mean, I'm enjoying the shit out of this, man. I just love how fucking like dark these are. Like they didn't go for like I mean, there's comedic elements, of course, but like it's not a comedy first. It's a horror film
Yeah.
first with comedic moments. And honestly, the kills were blowing
You
my shit out,
expect
dude.
it to be way more goofy than it is.
It is, man. It's so dark and mean spirited. That's what I love about it because I was like I said, I was expecting more goofiness, more just kind of lighthearted and stuff. Like take these characters and put them into like a soft R. These are like, this is hard, mean spirited R shit. And I'm like, okay, I can fuck with this. So yeah, Winnie the Pooh, number 24.
Ooh. All right. My number 24 is it's funny because there's a lot more movies and we're already running into repeats. But my number 24 is stop motion, which was Tyler's number 24 as well. Pretty
This is going to
weird.
be a reoccurring thing though, for sure.
Yeah. I dug this movie. I thought it was really cool. The little girl got on my nerves. She just like comes in. I like the conversation that the main girl has with the mom, where she's like, she finally gets away from her very controlling mother who constantly stifled her ideas and like sort of like, suppressed her. And she thinks she's finally free, and then she gets bullied by a little kid. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I think that it was not like Oddity. I think it was one that a lot of people were talking about throughout the year. And again, Moods, I do think Shudder had a good year this year.
I don't know, man.
the
I mean,
Shudder one.
Decent.
I would have to like really look through the films that I enjoyed versus the ones I didn't. But I tend to like remember the ones I didn't. You know what? Come to think of it, actually, was Grave Torture wasn't on Shudder,
I
was
think
it?
that was Netflix.
Was
Yep,
it?
Netflix.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of what was good on Shudder this year that I kind of took away. I got one or two that I can really remember, but that's about it. Was it in a Violent Nature? Was that on Shudder?
Yes.
That was
Okay.
on Shudder.
Okay.
Exuma.
Yeah.
Right, Exuma. So I pre-ordered the 4 because I knew I was gonna love that movie. I don't know what it is. I just have this hunch sometimes, and yeah, I didn't watch it on Shudder. I watched my 4K because I did that 4. That was my 2024 pick for my 31 days because I always do one modern film, and yeah, so that's what I did for that one. But lucked out, you know.
Yeah. I mean, so Red Rooms will also be coming to Shudder.
Okay.
Baghead was there as well, which I liked. What else was there? That wasn't Devil's Bath a Shudder film?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was one too. I knew there was another big one.
Yeah.
I think Oddity was too.
Demon Disorder was
Oddity
on there too,
and-
right? A lot of people like Demon Disorder. I think that was on there.
Yep.
That Arcadian one.
Yeah, Arcadia. You'll Never Find Me.
Exuma.
That was actually Tom's #1 film of the
Was
year.
it Exuma?
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
You'll Never Find Me. That was another one that
Yeah,
was.
I think that's might be one of their better years, actually.
Was Hellhole from there? Was that the
Yeah.
Shudder one? Okay.
I think so. Was it? No, that's a Vinegar Syndrome one.
Okay.
Right? I don't know.
VHS Beyond. That was Shudder, obviously,
Yeah.
which I didn't really care for too much. But yeah. Who's go?
My turn now. All right,
I
number
gave
20.
I gave that movie a 7.5, by the way.
Okay.
Number 23, a film that made a couple lists actually. It is from the directing duo of Scott Beck and Brian Woods, and that is Heretic. Really what comes down with Heretic is I adore the first half of the movie. I was having so much fun in the theater. My sides hurt from laughing so much at like this Hugh Grant.
You're
Just
fucked.
like making an actual. It was so funny how he was just trolling these two girls and making a mockery of like everything they believe in. It made me so happy. I had a lot of fun with the first half. But I really don't like the second half of this movie, but I enjoyed the first half of this movie like so much.
Are you drinking
Like,
a
I
Red
do-
Bull?
No, I'm drinking Blue Moon Lights.
Oh.
But yeah, right. Like I said, I don't really like the second half of this movie, but I really love the first half. And maybe the second half is going to work better for other people. Obviously, it did because it made some lists. But yeah, I think we beat that one to death. It has some interesting things to say about religion, where some other movies are a little bit more hollow, and it brought something fresh to it. So
Yeah.
I'd probably give this one another shot. Okay, I'm going to come in on this one with a soft spoiler, my strongest 6.5.
Your strongest 6.5.
Strong 6.5, brother.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh,
All right,
shit.
Mason.
All right, number 23. It's gonna have to be VHS Beyond.
Ooh,
so
interesting.
Unfortunately, this is the only VHS movie besides Viral to not make my top 10 of the year it came out. It was cool. I just wasn't vibing with it the same way. The dog segment really was, I don't know, didn't like it at all. I don't know. But I rated a 7.5 out of 10, which, the one before was an 8, because I feel like I would definitely rewatch this probably multiple times. I mean, I'll buy it because I like all of them as a franchise. But first watch was kind of disappointing, but still worthy of a top 25. Yeah.
Cool. All right, number 23 is a film from Austria, and it is called The Devil's Bath. Okay, so I'm eating my words. Shudder was good. Fine. Whatever. Yeah, no,
I mean, compared to think about it, the last couple years, Shudder has been ass, like
has
literally ass.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's like improved,
Right. We kind of beat this one to death a little bit too. We've talked about The Devil's Bath a lot, but I just think it's a really interesting film about like mental illness and suicide by proxy. Like it's a really fucked up idea, and then what makes it even more fucked up is that this is based on historical facts, and it's really interesting how humans are and like how we've just learned over the years and stuff, and like what people used to do back in the day. Like it's just crazy, but it's obviously religion driven though too, right? Again, this year we touched on the fact that there's so many religious type based films, whether it be like straightforward religion, but this one, the reason for what's happening in the film is religious based, right? And it's just crazy. Like that, I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole religious thing, but that's one of my biggest problems with religion is that this type of shit happens because you're told that, like, if you commit suicide, you're fucking, or if you take your own life, you're going to hell. Right. And, and this is a cause of that. It's kind of crazy when you really think about it, because what they're doing, they're taking innocent lives and then they're, blah, blah, blah. It's a very bleak and dark movie. And it's like, it's a movie that I really enjoyed, but it's not a film I'm going to be like, hey, invite some friends over, grab some fucking beers. Hey guys, want to watch The Devil's Bath? We're going to have a good time with this. It's not that type of movie. It's super bleak. It starts out with a real bleak scene. It ends really bleak.
I feel like, though, to be fair, most folk horror is like that.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing about this film that I really enjoy is that it captures the aesthetic and the feel of folk horror so well. It really does. Like the atmosphere, the period piece, the costumes, like just the slow tone, the brooding, ominous horror level of it. And it's just like, it's just going to end so badly, like and it does it so well. It's a very, very well produced and directed film. That it's something that I just don't want to watch over and over again because I got it. Like I've seen it. I don't need to rewatch the movie because it's something that, like, I don't know what else I'm going to get out of it. Like I was so into it and stuff, but it's a really, really good film. But I understand people saying, it's like, it's a tough watch and stuff because it starts out with a scene. You're just like, really? What the fuck? It's something you don't see in films very often. You really don't. Like it's so bleak and so blatant, but yeah, The Devil's Bath, 8 out of 10. Good film. Really good film.
Yeah. I also like that movie a lot. I think that was my number 2. So obviously, if you haven't heard the top 10 show, maybe, well, I wonder if people would wait and rather listen to 25 through 11 first.
I don't know why you would want to do that. Like,
They're definitely listening to top 10 first.
Yeah, I feel so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about spoiling your top, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 23 is a film that I'm pretty sure none of you guys have seen, because it came out pretty late in the year, like literally the last week of the year, and that is Bloody Axe Wound. Have you any of you guys seen that?
Nope.
No.
I mean, I have such a dirty mind because every time I hear the term bloody axe wound, I
think of the same thing as
you
you.
know exactly what I'm.
Isn't that weird?
It isn't. Our minds are warped. They're so fucking warped. Like,
well, it actually
people referred to it as an axe wound before. So
yeah, I mean, it's such a filthy term, man. That's gross. That's such a.
It is kind of funny too because the film is about like lesbians.
Shut up. No
maybe
way.
Maybe it's a double entendre. Then
That's what I was wondering.
Intentional.
Yeah. So this movie is real weird. Okay,
Dude, that's funny.
It's another Shudder film. I saw it in the theater.
Nice.
And which a lot of Shudder stuff comes to the theater now, which is kind of cool a little bit. But it's a horror comedy. And the worst thing about the movie is just the setup. It's so ridiculous, and I don't quite understand it. And I was reading other people's reviews, and they all kind of felt the same. So it takes place in a town where there has been a slasher killer killing people for the last like couple decades. And the slasher killer guy runs a video store where he sells, I forget his name. It's the what the hell is it? Blade Cut is the slasher killer's name. He's basically a Jason type thing, So there's all these like sequels like Blade Cut Returns and Son of Blade Cut and like that whole thing. But the weird thing about the movie is that the murders are the movies, but
Right.
he's not filming the murders. There's not like a film crew there. So it doesn't really make sense like that the murders are the movies. It's not quite clear. And it was like, it does not make sense unless I'm missing something. But a lot
is
of
it like set in is it set in like our world? Like it's set in reality? Like weird.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part.
Did they miss that point where you need to kind of showcase that this is what's being filmed? as the
I don't
murders?
know.
That's
It's
crazy.
it's so weird. It's so weird how they do that. But it's
Interesting.
like they don't even. It's like they don't address it. It's just weird. But other than that, it's a really fun movie. So the daughter of Blade Cut, Abby, she needs to take over the family business because her dad's getting old, and he's when he gets resurrected, he gets killed once, and when he gets resurrected, normally he could dig himself up out of the ground, but this time he struggles. So he's like, might be time to hang up the old machete, you know. So she takes over, and she goes to a neighboring town high school to kill the like a section of classmates, you know, the slutty one, the whatever, the funny one, blah blah blah. And she ends up like kind of like becoming friends with the one girl who she's supposed to kill, and they end up starting to have like a romantic relationship. So it's kind of a like pickle, you know, and then her
Mhm.
dad's like all pissed off because obviously she's fallen in love with the victims. But it was really unique. Besides that opening, it's a really unique and fun little meta type slasher. Um, that I really enjoyed. Like I said, the setup doesn't make sense, but other than that, it's a really awesome movie. So I really enjoyed it. I give it a 7.5 as well.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
Me too,
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in it, especially if it's just on Shutter.
Yeah,
All right.
Which is
My
not
next
on my
film-
Shutter, by the way.
it's not
Uh-oh.
out. It's not out on Shutter yet.
Oh, that's right, right. You're
I
right.
don't think it is.
No,
'cause it was
I
just in
actually
the
looked into that.
theaters.
Right.
Yeah, it came out December 27th.
That's crazy.
So really late in the
Yeah, the
year.
buzzer.
I mean, this year was, fuck, man, solid read from top to. Well, I shouldn't say. I mean, the very first movie of the year I saw was
Night Swim.
Night Swim, the fucking killer
Yeah.
pool thing. Now,
It took a while for the year
God.
to get going, but once it did, it was like, it's really nice.
it was weird, man. There was a point in the year where it was like every movie I watched, I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, it just kept getting better and better. I was like, this is nuts. Like, usually you'd lump in a shit one with a whatever, but it's like good one after good one, man. All right, Tyler.
All right, number 7, oh my God, why did I say number 7? Number 22. This was a film probably no one else has seen. I had the privilege of watching this film for Fantasia in the screener this summer, and that is Tatsuya Oshi's Kizo Monogatari Kiyomi Vamp.
Is this actually
this-
is this allowed to is
Yeah, it got released. It's just nobody's like watched it. 'Cause
Oh,
it's
okay.
only appealing to nerds like me.
What say the
but-
title again, buddy?
Kizo Monogatari Kiyomi
Okay.
Vamp. And basically what it is it's
I still don't know what you said.
obviously it's an anime.
talking
It's
about
an
you?
anime film. But basically what it is it's a recut of a popular trilogy of movies, the Kizo Monogatari series made by the same guy, and it's like 3 hour to like hour and 20-minute movies. And they're all really short, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good series. And what this basically did is he just recut them all together, and it's like 10-15 minutes shorter total. But it's a pretty good story wise. It's really good. The art's really good. It's basically about this like vampire queen that they destroy, and they need to bring her back to life, kind of like in Bordello of Blood. But to do that, they need to like find her severed limbs all over places. And it involves like a schoolboy and a schoolgirl and how he gets like involved in all this. And it's a really interesting movie. Honestly, this movie would probably have been higher on my list, but there's a big thing about it that I don't particularly care for when watching these anime movies, and that's fan service. If you're not familiar with what fan service is, when they have like those over sexual shots, like panties, upskirts, like things of like on the titties and stuff, and I don't really care for that in movies.
That's
Calm down,
fan
cons.
service.
That's what it's called.
I thought it was like giving shout outs, like specific things that are, say if you're watching like a
usually
movie
they'll
made
do
off
it-
of
I
like
think- No, I think that's what they call it in anime, and usually they'll do it to characters in the show, and that's kind of like I think that's why they call it fan service. I don't exactly know, but they even will say it like in English dubs, like in more fan service coming. But yeah, it's not bad in this. There's a couple right. in like the first like 7 minutes, they have like for no reason at all. There's like an upskirt shot of like some like anime girl's panties, and I was kind of just like, it's one of those.
Does it get all hentai?
That's
Does it
kind
get
of
all?
cringy.
Does it get all hentai?
No, it doesn't. It's very, very, very mild. If it got like that, I wouldn't agree to through the movie. Every once in a while, I'll try watching a series and it'll be one of those, and I'll be like, nope, and I'll just stop right there. Not judging you if you like that, not for me.
I love the hentai shit. I mean, in real life, like in anime, it's fine, but like if you ever see that shit in real life, it's totally disgusting.
Ugh.
How the hell would you see that shit in real life?
Well, because I went down rabbit holes on porn sites before.
Oh, are you talking about like tentacle porn or something?
Yeah, like the snake, whatever. Like,
okay.
There's some weird fucking shit. Like, well, I wasn't going down rabbit holes. People used to send me the most weird, fucked up shit, and I'm like, damn, man, I can't unsee that. But it's different.
Jeremy.
Exactly. Oh my god, dude, the Red Rocket thing. I'll never forget that. But anyways,
yeah, this is a pretty good series. I think most people would enjoy it if they can deal with that section. And like I said, it's very mild. It's just something that like didn't need to be in there, and it like makes me like it a little less. But it really is like a cool like horror, like gothic, like vampire story.
That's cool.
And I give it a 7 out of 10.
Cool, Mason.
Right, number 22. This one was on Moodz' top 10, and it got some awards at the Golden Horn Awards with Horrors Ball, so that was cool. But yeah, my number 22 is The Coffee Table.
Nice.
A really intense movie. It's just obviously terrifying that
Dude.
happened to you. But that's the worst possible thing that could ever happen. Yeah. Make a movie. Yeah.
I laughed so fucking hard on Tom's fucking award show last night. I was bawling. I was pissing myself. He has a category for best kill of the year. And guess what won for best kill of the year? Was the kill
which you don't even see.
Yes, dude. I was like fucking dying, man. I was like, oh my god. That is a great one, man. That's a good one.
Top table, I'd give it an 8 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a interesting film. All right, so number 22, we are gonna go to, where is this movie from? It's from the Netherlands, and it is starring actually one of two films that Nick Frost was in this year, called Crazy House. Also, Alicia Silverstone was in the film, so if you grew up in the 90s, you know who she is. I think every guy in the 90s had a crush on Alicia Silverstone. She's still awesome, but yeah, like Crazy House is one of those interesting films that's like follows this like. It's basically like a 90s sitcom. And that's the whole setup and stuff like that. And then this shit just goes crazy. We've talked about it on the top 10, but my biggest complaint with this movie is the fact that like the first like 30 minutes, the first act of the film, we have this like live audience laugh, like not a laugh track, but it's like a live audience laughter. It's because it's a fucking TV show, right? But then something happens in the film, and then this is where it turns all dark and goes crazy with these Russians and stuff like that. It's obviously a commentary on the Cold War and all the Americans versus Russia and blah blah blah. It's actually really well done. But then something happens, but then you lose the whole crowd interaction in the film. You get the laugh track, and then it kind of returns towards the end. And I'm like, so like in the middle of the film, I'm like, is it really on this set? Is it in his head? I was actually confused in the middle of the film. Like, where the fuck did the live audience go? And then it returns, and you're like, what the fuck? So that was like kind of my biggest complaint with that. I know Dave Z actually agreed with me too. He's like, it didn't make any sense where the audience went because they were still there through all the events of the middle of the film. But man, this one spirals out of control so hard, man. Like, it's a religious family. And, oh, dude, when the kid is smoking fucking drugs and shit, I was pissing myself laughing, man. This movie shouldn't be that funny, but it actually is that fucking funny. Really enjoyed Crazy House. Tyler, I don't remember. Did you watch this one?
I watched it, but I don't think like I kind of gave it like the full attention it should have.
Yeah, because I feel like if I was pissing myself laughing at that shit, you should have been too.
Yeah,
because it was ridiculously.
It was kind of like a drinking night like type of movie to watch with some people.
I mean, I get that, but like, man, dude. Everything just spirals out of control so hard in this, man. I love it, man. It's so much fun. But yeah, 8 out of 10 for Crazy House, man. Really, really fun film. I would love to rewatch it, just knowing that the crowd's gonna be taken out. Because the whole time, in my mind, I was like, where the fuck is the crowd, man? I love that aspect. But it's too bad it went away. But yeah, JP.
All right. My number 22 is In a Violent Nature.
Wow.
Um, I still think I might like this more if I gave it a rewatch, but I still liked it. I just think that it could have made my top 10 maybe because I think that like I didn't fully like I understood the basic concept, the POV of the killer, the entire movie. You're following the killer instead of the victims. Um, and I think that was pretty cool. But some other stuff that I didn't really grasp or put as much weight into. Has amazing kills in this film. The killer is really cool. I heard they're doing a sequel, so I'm really curious on what they could do with that,
Yeah.
expand it a little bit. But it's a really neat movie, and visually it just looks great. Like like the framing of shots and like the pans and it has a really good cinematography in there. But I give it 7.5 out of 10.
Which you don't see a lot in modern films that are shot in 4:3. And like I think one of the most brilliant things, like this movie is it's very creative using all these tools that we've seen before, but you put them all together and you lump the whole thing together and you get this film. And it's like the way I described, the POV killer and shooting in 4:3 is just, it's like tunnel vision, right? You don't want the wide aspect. Like if you see it as a wide thing, I think it loses that integrity of like the tunnel vision of the killer. I think it's
And
actually really
that's
fucking
like
well
the
done.
interesting thing too, because it still shows like great scope,
Yeah. Yeah,
even
isn't
though.
that crazy? You can shoot it in 4:3 in full screen and still get that though. It is really
Mhm.
interesting how they did that. But yeah, I mean, obviously the sound design in the film is fantastic. It's for, the ASMR people. If you're into that kind of shit, man, you'll love this movie because that's really, the sound design's out to fucking, it's crazy, dude. It's fucking awesome. I love it. Kills are fantastic. But so the big conversation on Tom's award show last night was the ending. Everyone loves the movie, but everyone's confused by the ending.
Mhm.
And I think it's being misinterpreted as being like, just they didn't know what to do with the ending and they just kind of left it with this conversation and stuff like that. But we did explain it away in the top 10 show.
Yeah.
We don't have to get
That
it.
helped me. That actually helped me a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So we don't have to get into that again. But actually, someone mentioned in the comment section that 22 Shots explained it, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay." So we'll go and listen to that shit. So props to whoever said that in the chat and stuff like that. So they obviously listened to the top 10 show because I
Cool.
think a lot of people were confused about the ending. Like, why the fuck did it just do this? Like, what's with the
Mhm.
conversation and shit? And I don't think people were thinking the whole TCM thing and blah blah blah. Like it just wasn't going that way with people.
Yeah.
But if you look at it in that terms, it makes a lot different sense. So yeah, really, really innovative film, man. I think it's really good. So, but you're right though. Like if you liked it, I think a rewatch would just probably elevate it, man,
Mhm.
for sure. I actually can't wait to rewatch it. So good stuff. Tyler.
Oh, it was JP's. I thought it was yours. I'm sorry.
I
Uh,
was doing all the talking.
yeah. It's funny. All right, so 21. A film that also made a couple lists and was also a film that I had the privilege of seeing for Fantasia, and that's Scooter McRae's Black Eyed Susan. Yeah, we talked about this movie quite a bit. It's one of the couple movies that really like turned my stomach this year. There's obviously it's disturbing enough going as you start with this movie pretty quickly, and it gets to a boiling point where they have a conversation that absolutely turned my stomach. Not only because it's gross, but because it's if it's actually practical, like arguably, if you think about it, which makes it even like more disturbing. So yeah,
Mhm.
definitely give this one a try. I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen this. Maybe um, people are getting them in their Vinegar Syndrome packages. But yeah, definitely give this one a shot. It's a pretty short watch too, and it's like guaranteed to get under your skin. So yeah, Black Eyed Susan, 7 out of 10.
I still haven't seen that shit. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, am I going on? All right. My number 21 has been mentioned, and it is the film What You Wish For. Just like my previous film, The Coffee Table, this one is an anxiety ridden film for me. Nick Stahl, shout out Nick Stahl, always in bangers, great actor. And this movie, besides its whole story, really appealed to me as a big fan of Hell's Kitchen. So I thought it was funny when they made the risotto and the way he plated his steak at the beginning and everything. That was cool, and it looked delicious. But yeah, and he made human meat look delicious too. The tongue at the end, I mean,
Oh,
crazy.
dude, the fact that it had herpes, the one it's like we can't use it. He had herpes. It's like, what?
Damn,
That's so gross.
yeah, I'd give What You Wish For 8 out of 10.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Is it my go?
It is your go.
What was Mason's choice?
What You Wish For.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I haven't seen that one. So okay.
Moving
Yeah.
on.
So coming in at number, what are we on?
Number
21. Number 21 is a film. We're gonna go back to Canada with this one, and it is called Frankie Frico. I know. This movie was fucking fun as hell, man. As everybody knows, I'm a huge Astron 6 fan. I love Steven Kinselski. Good stuff, man. Really good stuff. I love the setup in this movie, man. Basically, Connor Sweeney plays this guy. He's like I don't know, he's kind of like a dorky business dude. Anyways, he's looking for, the wife's out of town and shit like that, and he's bored as fuck. He sees this ad on TV, and it's basically... it's like a party line, right? So he gives it a call, and then everything fucking goes crazy. These little monster puppet things show up, and then it just goes crazy and shit. And then he's basically got to clean up this mess before the wife gets home. That's what he thinks. And yeah, so that's what we got. It's basically just like it's Astron 6 shout out to, little creature movies of the 80s. We got Gremlins, Ghoulies, and shit like that. Like The Gate, stuff like that. Like this is what they're Munchies. This is their take on that, and it's very clever and stuff. It's got all the Astron. Most of the Astron 6 guys are in the film, as per usual and stuff. Adam Brooks kills it as the boss in this movie. He's pretty funny. But yeah, I had a blast with this. I think it's so much damn fun. Actually, since we're on that,
I thought this was going to make your top 10.
The Frankie Frico. This is the Canadian edition. So
okay, I was surprised it even had a release. I saw that.
So Raven Banner. Well, I'm glad that they're given the props where they're the do where it's Frankie Frico. But I like this, man. It comes with this fucking Christmas card. Season's great. It's fucking awesome, man. It's a really good edition, man. We got the fucking we got the little comic book here, but it comes with the soundtrack, which is really cool. So anyways,
that's cool, yeah.
So the reason why I show that off is because Scream Factory put it out for most people. This is the Canadian edition. Is that the Scream Factory one? Yeah. Cool.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
So it doesn't come with the soundtrack and stuff, does it?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. But really, really fun movie, man. Like I said, anything Astron 6 has pretty much been on all my lists. Like Psycho Gorman was my favorite film of 2 years ago. I mean, I think The Void made a list. I mean, fucking go on and on and on, man. The Editor was my number one film one year. Like they always seem to knock it out the park for me. It's not because they're Canadian and people. Someone actually said that one time in a comment. They're like, you only like Astron 6 because they're Canadian. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. I give everything a fair shot. Doesn't matter where it's from or whatever. It just so happens that they're Canadian and I like them a lot. Yeah. So, it is what it is.
Like there's something like
if anybody knows you and they couldn't see that you would like Astron 6, then they don't really know you.
I think it's just people just throwing out bullshit, man. It's like, I mean, people are so fucking funny. So the first 6 hours the show is up, man. Like I love this about people that leave comments at fandom, whatever it is. It's so funny to me because so we have this 8-hour show and we have all this great commentary. We have, great dialogue and stuff like that. And the first couple comments were fucking stuff about grammar. I'm like, how fucking lame is people?
People were getting mad at me because I was saying, instead of literally, I was saying literately or
I think you were saying literally or something like that. But anyways, I was
literately.
So
I think I was putting an extra T in there.
I'm like, really, guys? Like grammar? Like, what was the other one? Someone.
Oh, it was the one.
Oh, it's
that guy
Tyler
comments on
that
guy comments on everything though, and just says stuff.
Yeah, I just don't like. I just don't understand how that bothers people so much. I don't know. It doesn't.
But I'm just like, there's so much more to the show. Like, I mean, I spent 4 hours doing the intro. No
Yeah,
comments,
now
but
you just said
Oh, yeah.
like twice in that
so
sentence.
whatever.
What the fuck?
But I'm not. I don't. But people even say like I barely ever say like. So
Yeah.
um,
It's just people don't understand. Like I think that people who have never podcasted for 8 hours or, or anything like
Oh,
that,
bro.
you don't realize that like sometimes your brain is thinking and you're saying filler words to process your thoughts,
Yeah.
and you're also talking fast, so you might put
right,
in more filler words. It's not a big deal.
right.
I do understand how it can be a little bit annoying if you're not used to it, but it's harder. What I'm trying to say is it's a little harder than you think to talk perfectly on a
Well,
podcast.
especially when you got 6 people and people are firing on all cylinders,
Yeah.
and you're trying to like you're kind of snap talking and shit like that, and like JP was kind of the bigger person about it too. Like I don't think people realized he was sick as fuck during that show, and like, we're not going to sit here and make excuses because he's kind of dumb as fuck all the time, anyways. But like
True.
to be
Oh.
honest, like he was sick as shit and he had brain fog. Like he legitimately was having
Yeah.
a problem talking, and like so. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And like JP's right though. Like we record a lot, and there's shit that sometimes comes out wrong. Like someone commented on my update the other day, like the way I said something, it came out kind of funny fucking sounding. Like he's
Yeah.
like, but he even said, he goes, I know what you meant, but the way I
Yeah.
said it, it just sounded completely wrong. But,
Yeah,
you know, it is what it is.
It's one of those things, man. It's just, you're gonna have flubs and mess ups and stuff. I don't like stuff don't bother me. It's hard to get under my skin. So like
Yeah.
if
Oh, it
dude's
doesn't
making
bother me.
fun of something that I said, I'm like, yeah, probably I probably said it. It's
The
whatever.
public, yeah, you already got to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had this happen so much. Like people will comment about something we said on a podcast, like from 2 years ago. And I'm like, I can't even remember what I said on last week's show. Like,
I know.
I'm like, how am I supposed to respond to this? Like, I don't fucking know. Like, I remember one comment. It was so funny to me. I always thought this was so ridiculous. It was like somebody commented and they said, well, you said back in 2013 that you didn't like this movie, and this is like 10 years later, like now
I
you
know.
like it, you're fake or whatever the fuck it was. And I was like,
Yeah.
it was 10 years ago, and people's
Yeah.
Dude, sometimes
we
I don't
change
like
our
something,
opinions
and
on shit.
A week later, I'm like, you know what? I actually did like that.
Yeah,
Now that I
like
think about
sometimes
it.
we
But like
obviously
10
had
years
our-
ago, like I've watched like 5,000 movies since 10 years
I
ago.
know.
Like my tastes are gonna change.
I know, like, I mean, shit. I mean, our opinions change. Sometimes you love a film, and then you end up not liking it, and vice versa, right? Things happen. Like opinions change, thoughts change, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just think that's really funny that people actually bring that shit up. But the fact that people remember that, they're like, yeah, on episode fucking 42, you said this. On episode 291, you're like this. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, come on, bro. That is
Dude,
crazy
there's
talk.
I mean,
literally
I'm just
hundreds.
impressed that somebody would have like that like type of like recalling like knowledge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of dumb shit I've said over the years. Like I thought that
Yeah.
remember I thought Leprechaun Origins was gonna be good. I thought I said Hellraiser was overrated. Like, you know what I mean? I've
I
changed.
thought Annie Wilkes was reading the new
I
Misery
used to hate
novel.
all trauma. Like I could not stand trauma.
Yeah, and you still say that the bowling bag killer's fucking mask sucks. So you're still an
That
idiot.
I still stand on.
No way, man. I love the mask. It's great. Yeah. Anyways, wow, where the fuck were? Oh yeah, Frankie Frico. Yeah, fun ass movie, man. I give this. What did I give this one? Is it still? Am I still in the 8? Yeah, I give it 8 out of 10. It's fun.
Yeah, I liked that one. It was pretty fun. All right, my number 21 is Tyler's number 10, and that is Lisa Frankenstein. I really enjoyed this movie. I was expecting it to be garbage. Even when I was in the theater and I saw like previews for it, I was like, that looks stupid. But I ended up really enjoying it. It has a lot of heart. It's the lead actress is really fun. She has a really fun performance that I think is super funny, and she got good charisma, and it reminded me a lot of like a very cynical, like a Daria type character or something like that. So yeah, and it's a fun romance horror film, which I tend to usually enjoy. I think that it's funny. I remember last week they announced that they weren't doing a Last Drive-In Valentine's Day special this year, which they have been doing for the last handful of years. and people are like, "Oh, it's probably because there's not a lot of like romance horror," and I'm like, that is not true. Like
Yeah.
there is so many types of movies that you could fit in. I remember me and Carly, I made a big list of double features. I literally had about 24 double features of similar movies that fit like the romance theme, like Hellraiser 1 and 2, Necromantic 1 and 2,
Have a watch
uh,
party.
Death by Temptation. Like there's so many movies that fit in like the love Valentine's Day vibe. Spring.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to
Brilliant.
be Valentine's Day
No, it
specific
doesn't need
films.
Valentine's
No,
Day.
most of
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever even showed a Valentine's Day
But
specific movie.
honestly, that's one, kind of holiday that is not, there's not an abundance of films. There really
No,
isn't.
but we
Yeah.
actually do have a new one coming out this year that looks pretty
That should be our
promising.
Valentine's Day.
Oh,
show.
yeah, there is. I
Well,
kind of scanned through. I'm actually kind
It
of
just
excited to go
depends
through this.
if Moodz will actually get that movie.
Yeah.
I'd be down to cover it if he did.
I mean,
Well, you probably by the end of the year at least.
everything is
romance
up
horror.
in the air because the fact that we didn't get man, Dylan kept messaging me and saying, "Oh, it's like our fucking shit ass town." He was pissed right off. But yeah, the fact that we didn't get Nosferatu is actually pretty crazy because it's not like it was a small movie. You know what I mean? It's not like a minor release or whatever. It's a big ass fucking wide release, pretty big title, and in the fact that like. When it came out, we have nothing but kids movies and Marvel movies, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! It's all they do, man. It sucks.
I think we've covered, like, I only know of like really 3 Valentine's Day or maybe 4. What is it? You have
Well, there's Valentine. There's My Bloody Valentine.
which we've covered that.
OG
We've covered
remake.
both My
Lover's
Bloody
Lane.
Valentines.
There's Lover's Lane.
I don't think we've ever done Lover's Lane.
No,
and
we
we
haven't.
haven't done.
I passed on the Arrow Blu-ray actually because I have the DVD and I'm not really a big fan of that movie, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little disappointing.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to maybe if he gets that new one, we'll check it out and review it or something. But Lisa Frankenstein, 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I was literally in the same boat with you, man. I was in the theater and I saw the trailer for Lisa Frankenstein and I started laughing. I was like, dude, that looks so fucking bad. Like I was like,
in the
oh
same
my
boat
God.
too. I'm like, I regret that I didn't see it in theaters.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
We never got it, so I didn't even pass on it. We just never got it. So
I just felt like if I went there, like I already was gonna think it was gonna be corny, and I felt like it would have been like all like teenage girls there.
right. Well, that's exactly probably what it would have been. So
Yeah.
When I,
I
went
mean,
to see Bones and All, it was like all teenage girls there. I felt like I was doing something illegal.
I just feel like I would. Yeah, Bones. Actually, when I saw Bones and All, I was one of the only people in the theater, so it wasn't too bad. Actually,
There's another one right there.
Yeah, which is interesting. Oh my God, I'm eating my words all night here. Like I always talk about how much I hate romance and fucking horror films, and I mean, I'll stick by my guns. I hate rom-coms, but I do like Bones and All. I actually really enjoy that movie. So
It's good.
All right, what are we on? 20?
Yep. Top 20.
All right, number 20 film we already named. One more talked about films of the year, and it's Damian McCarthy's Oddity. This movie, the biggest knock you can have against this movie is it's pretty generic. That's really, and the writing's a little bit predictable, but that's really about it. It just feels like a classic, like haunted house movie. I think it's one of the scarier movies of the year, or conventionally scary, at least I should say. And it's an easy watch. Like this is a movie that like I thought it would make some top tens, but it might not be anyone's favorite. But I think this is a movie like most horror fans will easily enjoy. It's really just like a classic like traditional like haunted house movie, and it's done really well. It's just like not the most inventive thing you've ever seen. So yeah, I'll give that one a 7 out of 10.
it needed a fucking good twist or something.
Right. It needed some sort of subversion.
Or juice.
Yeah, a little bit more substance. Like it just felt like when we were talking about it, Tyler, like it felt A to B, but done well. A to B. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was standard, but it felt like it should have went into a different direction when it didn't. I'm watching the movie, and I think you had the same reaction too. You're like, "That's what it did. That's what it's doing."
Yeah, like I was surprised.
Like,
I was like shocked it didn't do something different.
yeah, it's crazy because it felt like the whole time it was going to go into a different place, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
So
I just didn't expect it to be as A to B, but it was still a fine watch.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mason.
All right. Are we on number 20? I picked Strange Darling.
Nice.
Which I thought was a really fucking entertaining movie. Different. Had Babs Crampton in it. I mean, it was fun. I give it 8 out of 10.
Nice.
All right, number 20 for myself is Tyler's number 1.
Oh, baby.
That is I Saw the TV Glow.
It's my number 4. I think.
This is one of those movies I really wanted to rewatch, and I was going to grab the Blu-ray, and it was super cheap, and then I sat on it, and now it's like expensive again. I'm like, I'm still going to pick it up. I really enjoyed this movie, but it was one of those ones I really wanted to reacquaint myself with. I understood the movie, but I wanted to understand it more. And I love, like, it's one of those commentaries where it's like, damn, dude, you definitely get a lot more out of it, I think, on multiple watches, like you had mentioned before, Tyler. I think it's one of those things where you can get it, but all the little hidden messages, all the dialogues, all the things that are going on, you can start to connect the dots a little bit more about this narrative of, just living as someone else and stuff. And the way they do the movie is actually really clever, man. It's really, really clever. I love the visuals. The acting's really good in the movie. It's just, there's never a dull moment in it. It's so intriguing, the whole movie, because if you don't even understand what the commentary is, I think it's still really fucking entertaining. You're just like, it's visually and aesthetically very pleasing. But if you're getting the commentary, if you're understanding what they're going for, I think it has that substance to it where you're like, damn, I really want to rewatch that. So, I'm going to keep an eye on the Blu-ray and eventually pick that up, because I really want to revisit this one. But I saw the TV Glow. Very, very interesting film. Really enjoyed it. 8.5 out of 10 for myself.
Yeah. My original rating on this was actually a 7.5.
Wow.
Like that's what, like, multiple watches, and just like I saw it in the theater, so I did sit on this movie.
So you're saying if I rewatch this 2 or 3 times, I'm at a 10?
I'm not saying that. It's it was something that I left thinking like, yeah, that was really good, but I didn't think it was anything like that special. But it just sat in me, and I thought about it more and more. Then when I rewatched it the first time, it kind of really opened up doors for me. And it's just it's not about decoding one specific thing either. I think some people get hung up on that and oh, this movie means this for this group of people, and I don't think that's true. It just is for whatever the viewer takes away from it.
I can really relate. Well, I mean, not to the actual core commentary, but for somebody that watched a lot of TV in the 90s and shit like that, and you go back and rewatch. I mean, we've probably all had this happen to us, where we've rewatched something that we loved back in the day, and then when you rewatch it as an adult all these years later, you're like, damn, that's actually really bad.
That's Power Rangers, man.
Yeah,
Rangers.
It's very good.
It's not like you remember it. And one thing I actually noticed too, it took me a couple of viewings to mention, is when he watches the shows again later on in the movie, they actually use different actors to play the parts. So it's not how you remember.
Exactly, and I thought that was super brilliant, because I'm a perfect example of somebody that remembers things differently. Like JP called me out on A Quiet Place or whatever it is. I could have sworn that they had a conversation in the film that probably didn't even happen, but that's the way our brains work, right? I thought that it happened, and I was convinced that it happened, and I'm still a little bit, I gotta go back and watch it or something like that, but I feel like they at least hint at it in the film. Anyways, we're not getting on that, but the point is that sometimes you remember shit a lot differently, and I love the way they did that, because showing the different actors is so true to your brain, right? You see shit differently. I love that. It's really clever. Good stuff though.
Nice.
Tyler. I mean JP.
Yeah. So my number 20 is one that has been mentioned twice tonight, and that is What You Wish For. It's pretty good. It's about a guy who has to cook people, and that's always a fun time. Mason, we were talking, I think Moodz stepped away, but there's a part where they can't use the tongue because it has herpes.
The premise of this movie reminds me of one that came out a couple years ago. What is that movie?
Fresh.
There's Fresh, and then there's.
I didn't see that movie.
The Menu.
The Menu. That's the one I'm thinking of. Fresh was.
It's kind of similar to The Menu.
It's similar in the sense that they have the commentary on rich people are fucked up or
yeah.
It's
can also afford to do these fucked up things though too, because it's costly. Yeah.
I think when you put yourself in the position of the lead character, it's super, you feel for him pretty bad, because you're like, damn, he's really in a pickle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's effed. But yeah, What You Wish For, 8 out of 10. Good lead performance.
Good stuff. Tyler.
Okay, number 19. Movie that made, I think, at least one list, maybe a couple. And I think this is also a Shudder movie too. This is a movie I saw pretty early in the year and held on near the top. And that's from the directing duo of Cameron and Colin Carnes. It's Late Night with the Devil.
Oh
This
yeah,
was a
that one
really,
also was a Shudder movie.
yeah. This was pretty
Mm,
good.
Hmm.
It's an interesting take on the whole like found. I don't know if you really call this movie found, for it's kind of like some sort of hybrid one. But yeah, it's an interesting take like on like the live like for recovered footage aspect, or at least like looking back at this historical thing. I know some people complain about like some AI stuff in it, which is just I don't know. I didn't notice, so whatever. But I liked it. I like you see like the guy between the front and the back. I thought like all the stuff with like the guy coming out there to debunk everything was really exciting and really interesting. And I like that this movie didn't like wuss out and kind of went somewhere pretty dark by the end. And yeah, I definitely check this movie out again. Give this one a 7.5.
cool.
Nice. Nice, nice. Um,
Mason.
Mason.
Number 19 for me, I picked Long Legs, which really needs.
Long legs.
Um, I really enjoyed it at theater, but it was kind of one of those movies of the year where it didn't match the hype of the trailer. Where I don't know, the trailer sold it as something that was going to be totally terrifying and creepy. And while it did have its creepy moments, and I liked it, it just didn't get as high as I had hoped that it would. I don't know, but we'll give it another watch and see. I mean, I still give it a 8 out of 10. So Long Legs.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go to Indonesia with grave torture
All right.
for my number 19. Yeah, visually, man, this movie was crazy. It's got some really good body horror and stuff like that. But I love the whole premise of this movie because it's again another movie that is based off a religion. And so essentially, what happens in the film in the beginning of the movie, our lead character, our lead actress, her parents are killed by like a suicide bomber, and she loses all faith. Like, it's natural for people to, just be like, okay, no God would let this fucking shit happen. So she wants to prove that, grave torture doesn't exist. So she basically goes out and tries to find like the most sinful person to, figure this out with. And I love the story and the backstory of who they find. It's like super dark and creepy and shit like that. And then it just spirals out of control from there and stuff like that. And then we get this whole kind of grave torture thing. Yeah, visually, man, and narratively wise, like I love the story. I love where this one goes. It's super dark. It's like that scene where she's crawling into the grave. I'm just like, bro, like, come on, man. Could you imagine actually doing that shit, dude? That's terrifying. Watching her do that, I was scared. I was like, no, don't do it, man. This shit might be real.
Time.
Yeah, because if it's real, that's going to be really fucked up, right? Like,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, it's got, I thought this movie was great, man. I can't remember. Was it really long? Because I felt like there was like no downtime. I was so intrigued by
It
the
was a
story.
little bit longer, but yeah, I agree. It wasn't like it didn't feel like a long movie, but it was like I think it was like kissing the 2 hour mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the story, like I said, like when they go out and find the person who they find in the backstory, like it's very intriguing. Like the way they tell the story isn't clunky at all. I felt like it just
Yeah.
kind of flowed so well, and you get all these kind of parts, and you're like, oh god
Oh,
damn, dude, that's really again another really dark, fucked up core narrative
Yeah.
involved in this movie, right? Like it just there's so many movies this year that are like religion based or like really dark shit. Like Black Eyed Susan goes into a really fucked up dark place, and like, oh man, Grave Torture was really good though. I really enjoyed it. 8.5 out of 10. Good stuff.
Nice. Okay, so my number 19 is one that was mentioned. It is Oddity. Yeah, it's another movie that was pretty popular throughout the year. I believe it is another Shudder one. And I kind of agree with what you guys said. It kind of needed a little bit more to set it apart from the rest of the pack. But it did have a couple of good scares in it that I always appreciate. And it was a little creepy, so I like that. I give it a 8 out of 10.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Tyler.
We're right. Number 18 did pretty well on the top tens, and that is Ty West Maxine. Yeah, this movie's pretty it's pretty enjoyable, pretty solid. The things that people kind of criticize about this movie aren't necessarily things I've criticized. There's some things about Ty West, like I guess style in general, where he's kind of like a reference machine in some ways that I guess like you could fairly criticize. But I like what he's doing, so it does, so it's for me. It's kind of like I know that's what he's doing, but I don't give a shit. I like it. But yeah, there's a lot of cool references in this movie. When Kevin Bacon comes out in the Chinatown drip, I like wanted to jump out of my seat and like scream. Like that was like my favorite reference in a long time. Just like steps out in complete Jack Nicholson wear. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I would probably be most critical of just the ending in general, not necessarily some performances. That doesn't really register as something for me that bothers me about it. But yeah, this movie's pretty good. I definitely will watch the trilogy over again. Or probably maybe around this October. That'll probably be a good time to just watch them all. I've all seen them once, so just watch it. 1, 2, 3. And yeah, this probably, as it stands now, might be my favorite of them. I do remember Pearl pretty positively though. But yeah, Maxine, 7.5 out of 10.
Very interesting. My number 1 is your number 18, and my number 20 was your number 1.
All right.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's a good year. This would have made my list last year, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I fucking love Maxine. I still don't understand how JP's like, oh, the dad couldn't lead a fucking, a pack of ants or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, come on.
He couldn't lead a dog with a steak.
Man, I don't get it.
He couldn't, bro. It's not my fault.
You had to pick
not my fault.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it takes much though, man. When you're a religious cult leader, man, once you have the grip on your audience, your people, your followers, it does. You don't have to. If you got them, you got them.
You think I could do that?
No, not everyone can. Not everyone.
I can talk better than that guy. So.
Not everybody is a Charlie Manson. You have to be very.
I know
persuasive.
that guy was not a Charlie Manson. Is my point.
Well, not everyone. Charlie Manson was honestly incredibly persuasive. That guy was incredible what he did. But any cult leader has to have that charisma, has to have the right words, has to have the right tone, the right directness. You have to be that type of person. You have to be likable. You have to, and your argument's valid, but I truly think it's stupid, but whatever. Whatever. Yeah. All right, Mason.
Me? Okay. 18, some fun for the found footage lovers around here. My pick is Frogman.
Nice.
You know what? I bought that movie and I never fucking watched it, dude.
You still haven't watched it, JP?
I forgot all about it, dude. I thought
it was a slam dunk pick on Tony's list, so I watched it just so
You know what I fucked up, JP, when we were at the TerrorVision table at Wasteland? I meant to buy it. I never ended up getting it. And I enjoyed Frogman. I thought it was a lot better than I anticipated it to be, just put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had a great final sequence that really, pumped it up a notch. Really cool effects. Reptilian disclosure, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I honestly, a lot of people's critiques on the film were the first half of the movie where it's introducing these characters, or over introducing them. We overly get to know them, and it's just them partying in the hotel and shit. But I like the whole build up with it though, man. I like the characters. I like how she's playing a character, I like the whole thing. I think it's really fun. You
had to have, sympathy for what happens at the end. Kind of, you had to get close to him to really have it impact you like that. So I think they did well with that.
Yeah, that's a very, very valid and fair point for sure. And and that's a good point because a lot of times when you watch films and people die in films, and you're like, well, I didn't really care for them anyways.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fucking matter when they die, but it's more impactful when you get to know these characters and you start to become friends with them a little bit, visually, and then something happens and then it just works a lot better. So yeah, I agree with that. All right. Number 18, we're going back to the land of Canada, which, man, dude, I've got 6 or 7 films in my top 25 that are from Canada. This is absolutely an insane year out of Canada. Canada's a crazy fucking year, man.
First state.
Which is the French Canadian film Red Rooms.
I
I fucking dropped the ball on this one, man, because I don't like to take chances on films generally and buy them from the modern year if I haven't seen them and stuff like that. And then I realized that Utopia's version or edition of Red Rooms is sold out now on Vinegar Syndrome. So hopefully somebody re-releases that or whatever. But I would love to pick this up because it's a fucking great movie.
Sold out.
Yeah,
It'll
I
probably
actually
come back.
I went there a
I
couple
don't
days
think
ago.
it's a limited run.
Yeah, and it
I
was
thought maybe just the slipcover was, but
both of them, standard and slipper, sold.
dang,
So I'm
okay.
assuming they'll probably restock it because I don't
Yeah,
think
they'll
it's like
restock it.
limited. But I'm just saying it's sold out right now. But I guess one of these sale deals, or next time I do a big package order, whatever, I'll try to get Red Rooms. But it's one of those films I didn't want to spend the $40 on at first because I hadn't saw it. I didn't know what it was gonna, if it was gonna pan out or whatever. I wish I had taken a chance because it's really good. I mean, it's a great character study of somebody and with a great ending. Like really, really batshit stuff. I mean, if you're into like true crime and stuff like that, which I really am, it just kind of hits home with me. So yeah, good shit though, man. Red Rooms, 8.5 out of 10. Good stuff.
One of the best moments of the year in film, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a lot about Red Rooms, so
Yeah.
say too much more about it, but yeah, really, really good stuff.
All right. My number 18 is a movie that I don't know. I think people don't like, but I really enjoyed it, and it is Speak No Evil from
Okay.
this year, obviously.
You've seen the original one, right?
No, I have not.
Okay, so
Maybe
that's why this one's on your list then.
I purposely
Wow.
didn't see the original one so I could see this in theaters and like not like be like cheesed out by the ending if it was different.
We actually did have one entry, or I shouldn't say, or one comment that they even put the Speak No Evil was on their top 10 list, and it even had in quotations it said, I love the original one, but this one was fun too. And that was one of the only people I've seen mention that they watched the original one and then liked the remake. Because I feel like if you watched and liked the original one, this one is the same movie, completely dumbed down, in my opinion.
Really.
Yeah.
Maybe.
See, that sucks to know that.
The third act is definitely a lot more Hollywood. Yeah.
I like who's it? James McAvoy. I think he's really good in this movie. He comes off like super charismatic, but also just like, yeah, I don't know. I love these movies where people are in like a place where they think everything's like, oh, these people are really nice and stuff like that. And then it slowly starts revealing like this dark nature to these people. Even something like Midsommar is like that, where you just slowly see that like things aren't what you think.
Fucking
And I like that about Speak No Evil. And I'm curious to see the original, because my thing is like, is the performance of, I guess, the dad character in the original as good as James McAvoy's?
No, probably that's probably the bigger highlight of this one for sure. Yeah,
because he really sold it for me a lot, and just like the awkward, uncomfortable nature of the film. And I actually really enjoyed the mother character from like the Good People. I like that. I like the mother character. I thought she did a really good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could probably see maybe like the ending being a weak part of this movie without even knowing what happened in the original. But yeah, I still really liked it, and I did not expect to like this movie. So I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
All
Tyler.
right. Number 17. It's a film I was kind of hyping up a little bit. It didn't make a top 10, and it was Evan Marlowe's Abruptio. I had a fucking jolly time with this movie. Yeah, I haven't seen it. It is a puppet movie, and there's just a lot of like bad taste humor. Like a lot of actors like Lou like hamming it up. I think this is Sid Haig's last role, but it's like got a cop. It's got a cop played by Christopher McDonald. I forgot who else, but it's got a great cast to it, and it's puppets, and it gets like super violent. So because they're puppets, I found like all the violent stuff like unbelievably hilarious. There's a part where like something like really dark happens, in kind of like a home invasion type scene with like a child and the mom, and it just like it set me to laugh at like fits of laughter. You could only ever get away with this like in a puppet movie. And yeah, I had a really good time with this. This is a movie I definitely like showing people like, dude, you gotta see this.
Sure.
It's kind of like for me, it's like a super dark like Team America for me because of the puppets and uh, the dark humor in it. Not it's not exactly as lighthearted as that film, but yeah, Abruftio, really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend it. 7.5 out of 10.
That was one I'm glad I shoved in there at the tail end of the year. There, it was
Yeah,
interesting.
you know what I'm talking about then, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
Yes, it was a fun watch.
Everyone has AIDS. AIDS, AIDS.
Father AIDS.
All right. Let's try to guess what Moodz' next pick is.
You're next.
Well, oh, I'm next. Oh shit. So
Yeah.
let's go. Shit. All right.
Yeah.
My my number 17 is a Netflix movie that kind of surprised me. It's called It's What's Inside. Which was, an edge of your seat thriller for me. I thought it was a cool idea that was done really well. It just kept me guessing and rolling along with the movie. Shit, I really dug it. I give it 8 out of 10. Damn. What else you got to say? Shit.
I mean, what was your pick there?
It's What's Inside.
It's What's Inside. Okay.
It was
Yeah,
a good little-
that movie right there for me, man, was like, I felt like it didn't work for me because we didn't get to know the characters enough. And then when
Yeah.
you start
It's a
switching
valid
bodies,
point. I didn't even think of that when I was
you
watching
literally, well, I think even the director, I think they figured that out too, that it was so hard to follow because there's a point in the film where they actually have to put name tags on them.
it.
And I
Yeah.
think that's for the viewers to figure out who is who, but even then it's still hard to follow, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
like you
holy,
don't know. Yeah, and there's like they reveal them later on, but there's like nuances between like character relations and what happens, like when there's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that comes into play later. But like, yeah, it probably would have been more impactful if you already knew that.
yeah, I think it would have worked a lot if you knew the characters so well that when they switched bodies and knew the stories, when they switched, then it would have been a little bit more impact and easier to follow too, right? So that was my biggest complaint on the film. It wasn't horrible or nothing. I was just like, my head was fucking spinning trying to follow this. I'm like, oh my god. At one point,
Yeah,
I
I
didn't even
enjoyed it
realize who
enough
was
to first
actually
enjoy it.
dead. I was like, who is dead? Like that person is in that body, but that person's dead. I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh my god.
I was in the same spot. I just feel like that was just part of the entertainment for me. It could definitely have been written better, like that whole narrative. Like it was a
Yeah,
cool idea. So it could be done better, sure, but what it was, well, yeah. I
right,
mean, I wish it would have had better character development, but for what I got, it was, I don't know. It was
right.
cool.
What movie?
It's What's Inside.
For the people just listening, it's like these guys not paying attention, but no, well,
I wasn't here.
No, I know. I actually had to get up too because
Oh,
like I'm home by myself right now and I have a geriatric dog and like when she's up she's got to go outside, so I'm like that's why I keep getting up with her, and so she just spilled her food is all over my carpet, all over my fucking carpet right now
Oh.
in here. It's fucking everywhere.
Yeah, me and Tyler were just rapping for a second, just by ourselves, goofing off, singing fucking Team America songs.
Nice.
Did
Um,
you see Tyler's last pick? Were you here for that? Yeah, it was abruptly.
yeah, Brabio. Yeah.
yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So fuck, what number are we on here? Jesus.
17.
Around 17. Oh yeah, 17. Okay, number 17 is a film called Stop Motion. Man, I really like this movie. I've said many times that I'm a huge like stop motion fan. Like I love old Ray Harryhausen stuff and shit like that.
I feel like any cinema fan born before like 2000 is a stop motion fan.
Yeah, it's just it's a unique way of doing effects, and it takes it's a very tedious way too. So I have all the respect for people that actually put in the effort to do this. We don't see a lot of stop motion nowadays because, there's a lot more indie films, the money isn't really there. It just takes a lot longer to do. Props for actually doing a movie called stop motion and incorporating real stop motion and stuff. But I really liked the character study. I thought the narrative in this movie was really good. It goes into some places I was like, wow, it's pretty interesting. Definitely warrant of a rewatch. I think you could probably appreciate this one a little bit more. But yeah, stop motion showing off more blue rizzles. So But yeah, good film. I can't actually wait to rewatch that one. 8.5 out of 10. And that's a film from the UK actually. So
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, my next one is a film called Blink Twice. Um, I I didn't really know much about this one. It's directed by Zoe Kravitz, which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would consider it like a type of, Me Too type movie probably. But I thought it was pretty effective and I enjoyed it. 8 out of 10.
It definitely has that Me Too thing going on, but it also has what's going on in the world with like these rich, CEOs and all these, people, upper class people that kind of make it into places by doing bad shit and stuff. And it really kind of puts it out on a plate on this film, man. It's like, holy shit, dude. But the end of this movie is so fucking disturbing to me. I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really? Like they actually just did it. They just went full circle. I'm like, oh my God. Like it fucking just pounded me. I was like, me and the wife watched this. We looked at each other and went, holy fuck. This one's crazy, man. But Channing Tatum, man, his fucking performance in the movie. Wow. I've never seen any shit like this before.
Yeah.
I felt like McLaughlin, Rex, and Slater together made like such like a good supporting cast of douchebags.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Christian Slater, man. Fuck, that's one dude that I
Christian Slater was like loving being in this movie. You could,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, I got my fancy hat on, like all
Yeah.
that snappy line.
Dude, when he gets fucking beat in the film, holy fuck, man. And he's just thinking, I need a hospital. Like, dude. I'm like, God damn, man, that's fucked up. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So we're at number 16. All right. Number 16 is a film that hasn't been mentioned yet. And it is from Kiyoshi Kurosawa, and that is Chime.
Oh, you put Chime on there. Is that considered a full length? Is it after 45 minutes?
Yeah, 45. It's just considered a full length, but I wouldn't disagree with you. If
I
you
think
that's a
what is
short
it?
film.
40 minutes is considered a feature.
Yeah, this one's only 43 minutes. I think it only runs 43 minutes actually.
Yeah, so it's very short. Kiyoshi Kurosawa is someone I'm a really big fan of. I think he's one of like the most underrated horror directors of the last 30 years. And this is really like like his classic stuff. It's about a chef who starts to hear this chime, this like little like high pitched frequency noise that starts to disrupt his life, and it's got a lot of really good buildups and a lot of explosive moments. Kiyoshi kind of has.
Dude, hold on
style.
1 second. I'm sorry. The working title for Blink Twice was Pussy Island.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually knew that. Yeah.
They should have just called it that. That'd been awesome.
Dude.
That they didn't think it would sell very well with Pussy Island.
Probably not. Like you can't. Like your girlfriend's not going to want to go see that.
Well, you can't promote that in mainstream.
Yeah.
You can't put that out.
You can't do that. Imagine like
I just find it great
school,
that Zoe Kravitz titled it Pussy Island.
Yeah, she's a fucking boss for that. Yeah. Props to her, man. Again, with the female directors this year, man. What a fucking female directors, man. Like they absolutely killed 2024.
Yeah. For sure.
But this is kind of his like classic style where it's very just like it's very slower paced and it kind of just builds to like big moments. It's very similar to his film Cure, which I think is his best movie. And that's like it's almost like Cure Junior in a way. It's like a shorter version, and they like don't go into detail with like this sort of thing. But they're very similar movies. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'd really recommend it. You can watch it on YouTube. 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I actually still need to see Cure. I've honestly never seen that movie. Me and JP will get around to reviewing it on the Rue Morgue challenge because it's on.
Yeah, one day.
So one day we'll end up doing that one, but or maybe it would probably end up being on 22 shots before that. It'll be one of Tyler's pick shows.
We could do a spotlight on them.
Yeah, we probably could actually.
Yeah, I got that bad boy.
Is there a Criterion release for that? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, nice.
It looks like shit. I think
I have the Eureka. I think I have a Eureka one or something. I don't know. It's like a.
I watched this film before it got its Blu-ray transfer, and it looked like shit. So like, it's great if it got a release.
Right. All right, Mason.
All right, my number 16 was JP's number 17, which is Blink Twice.
Nice.
Yeah, a really cool film that I caught right at the edge of the year there, and Just like everybody's been saying, it's just fun, interesting thriller. And Channing Tatum's "I'm sorry" speech was like one of the most emotionally affecting little monologues or whatever of the year for me. Like when he just repeatedly says it, and it really affects you over time. And the way he performed it was, I don't know, really incredible. I was like, damn,
I
Channing
was
Tatum.
wondering when he did that scene if he was just kind of ad-libbing that. Like, I wonder if it was written like that or if he just repeated it for a minute straight. And I was like, is he going to stop? I literally said that out loud.
Right. And he's just going and going, and it's like, have you ever kind of wanted to tell someone you're sorry that way, or wanted someone to tell you that they were sorry in that way? And it's just, did he end up really kind of believing that he was sorry by the end of it? Like, did he mean he was sorry, or is he just being a fuck ass? I don't know. It was cool. It was
He
fucking.
definitely did not.
I,
mean
th- I think when you're doing
Think
bad
so?
shit and you end up
Like,
No.
he
and
kind of
shit
forced
turns
himself
around on you,
maybe.
you're always sorry.
Yeah.
But like, I don't
Yeah.
think truly his mentality
Yeah.
was sorry because he knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't give a fuck.
that guy's never sorry.
No.
That guy's sorry he got caught.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You're sorry you got caught. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. What do you give that one?
8 out of 10 for show.
Cool. All right, number 16. So from here on out, number 16 to my number 11, all these movies at one point were in my top 10.
Wow.
So they were all in there at one point and got switched around, blah, blah, blah. We all know the deal. So this one right here was actually one of my favorite theatricals of the year experiences because I went into it thinking, okay, it's another religious horror film, and I'm like, I didn't really know if the hype was going to be there because I saw it right when it came out, but there was already like a bunch of buzz and a bunch of hype for it and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, how's this gonna fucking play out? And that's Immaculate.
I was about to say, if nobody fucking has Immaculate, because that was my like number like 3 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you
nobody
said
has
Bones
Immaculate in
had
their
it.
top.
Immaculate was in
I
my
thought
top
Tony
10.
had it.
Immaculate was in my top 10 for the majority of the year until like the last 2 weeks of the year when I watched like fucking The Substance and Abruptio and Black Eyed Susan and Human as Vampire and oh my god, and Die Alone. Like everything just like went to shit. I was like, what do I do with this fucking list? It's crazy, man. Like there were so many good films that I watched at one time and they hit me so fucking hard. Like honestly, I think Die Alone is the sleeper hit of the year, man. Like no one is talking about this. No one even has it on their list. It made my top 10. It's such a good movie. Fucking crazy, man. I can't believe more people aren't talking about it. But anyways, Immaculate. Yeah, I mean, we've said a lot about Immaculate. I think it's dreadful. Any movie that is denouncing the Catholic Church and showing their true colors is a fucking win in my books, man. This one right here is showcasing, in my opinion, how the Catholics they're literally trying to play God themselves. You know,
Did
it's
this
so.
pop up on the Hornies at all?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. It got a couple nominations, different categories. Yeah. And you know these type of films, you know, especially for someone like Tom who grew up in a Catholic house who completely fucking can't stand religion and stuff because he was forced into it and shit like
that's
that.
why I asked if it came up.
Yeah, no, it did. You know, he still appreciates, you know, a good film for what it is, right? But like, I feel like the direction of this film was like really, you know, trying to denounce the, you know, the Catholic religion or I mean the church, not the religion itself, but the church and like how they.
Yeah, because like the religion itself is, you know, right in the movie.
It is what it is, right? But it's about what the Catholic Church can do and their effectiveness on people in society and the fact that they're always trying to play God themselves and how they really do get away with shit. You know, it's like it's really fucked up. Like, I mean, if you know anything about the Vatican, so like the Vatican is policed by themselves. Like you can't just go into that shit, man. They think about that for a second. Fucking think about that. It's a fucking religion that's policed by themselves, dude. Like this is fucking crazy shit. It's absolutely insane. Like the whole idea of the Vatican and the Catholic, I'm not not going to get crazy into it because I just find it so mind fucking, like it's crazy. I know Mason, like you're thinking the same thing. I think this movie is really effective in what it does. And it's got a great ending. It really does have a great ending. It didn't disappoint me at all. It was fantastic. I'm not going to give that away, but 9 out of 10, really enjoyed this one. Easily could have been in the top 10. I thought it was, fuck man, way better than I was anticipating it to be. So.
Have any of you guys seen the film Spotlight?
I don't think so.
I think you guys you probably like it. It's It's a drama. It's not a horror movie, but I think it won Best Picture actually. But it's about like the newspaper breaking like the scandal of like priests molesting boys, and like you find out like all this stuff and like how they were hiding it and like
I heard
all
about
these
that.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. I saw it in theaters.
Well, the
That's the only time I saw it.
scandal of them covering that shit up, like the crazy thing about the church is like they know all the shit that's going on and they purposely just kibosh it. They kibosh. They
Yeah,
let it
well,
go.
that's
They
the
let
thing
it
they would
happen.
do,
They don't
like-
even they don't even do anything about it. That's the crazy thing. They just let these
Yeah,
fucking priests do the
they
same
would
shit.
transfer them like somewhere else. Like that was like
Yeah.
the part that was gross about. They'd be like, "Oh, you got like someone like got in trouble here," and they just bring in someone else. And
Yeah,
they move
because
them
once the
somewhere
heat
else
got
they
on
don't know about.
their area or whatever, they're just okay. Well, this person needs to leave, but they wouldn't actually do anything about it except for just remove the problem.
Yeah,
But the
they would
problem just
move
went
them
from A to
around.
B. Fuck, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Neil.
Yeah, Immaculate's good though.
Hell yeah.
Good music in there too.
Oh yeah.
Red Queen killed seven
That was
times.
one of the awards. I don't think it won, but nominated for in the Golden Horns Awards was music or something like that.
That's the other
Cool.
film that samples Red Queen killed seven times.
Yeah, they were talking about. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's my turn then.
Yep.
All right, my number 16 is a little movie that I think did appear on a list or two. And that is Smile 2.
Yeah, that made Mason's list.
That
Yeah.
made my number 5.
So when the first time I tried watching this movie, I literally, man, dude, this was literally where did it go?
You said it
Just
right.
left me here.
Tyler Bet knife shoe.
I watched it late at night when I was really sick, like the height of my COVID, and I
The
was
theater or no?
no,
Oh, okay.
in bed,
Okay.
wrapped
He's in
in
the theater of
wrapped in
COVID.
like 3 hoodies and had a fever and cold sweats and it was just a horrible night and I fell asleep in a NyQuil stupor and I kept just like dreaming of the movie because I could hear it and it was just a weird trippy
Yeah.
experience and then the next day I actually watched the whole thing from
Yeah.
the beginning again and I really love the lead in this movie. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that the way everything plays out is so cool and it actually reminds me a bit of like Candyman in a way.
Yeah.
With Helen's character in Candyman, how like she can see Candyman and nobody else can,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of bad stuff is happening that she's getting blamed for. And yeah, I haven't seen anybody make that comparison, but
What are we
it
talking about here?
feels-
Sorry.
Smile 2. What?
What you just
I said it reminds me a lot of Candyman.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
character and
You haven't seen Candyman?
I haven't seen the movie you're talking about.
Smile 2?
Oh, I thought you said. Oh, I smiled. Oh, fuck. I thought you said something else. Sorry, you cut out for me. No,
I
you
thought
cut.
you made that face. Like,
Oh
what?
yeah, Smile 2's on you. Oh, okay, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, so it reminded me a lot of Candyman. I really dug it, dude. And I felt really bad for like all the pressure that she was under. Like she, had this big drug problem and she like turns her career around and then there's all this pressure from her mother and all these people around her to like do these tours and it's gonna ruin her. She's never gonna have another chance if she doesn't do this stuff. But she's dealing with this like crazy shit outside of that, trying to balance that.
Yeah.
It's I really dug the lead performance and I didn't know I expected this movie to just be a like cash grab sequel with no heart,
Yeah.
but I felt like it had a lot more going for it than
Parker
and
Finn.
it wasn't just a retread, which I appreciated.
How in the fuck is it like over 2 hours long though? Explain that to me.
It is a bit long.
It's crazy.
If there was anything to kind of hate on it for, it was a little long, but
Mhm. Yeah. But I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I
really
just-
liked it.
I still can't make sense of the ending. Like how it gets from A to B there and then like what they're gonna do with that ending. Or do you just make a prequel or what? Because it just seems like it went so big at the end.
probably
Yeah,
do-
that's
They could
what's
just-
that's what's creepy about it though. That's what's
Yeah, yeah.
scary about it.
Especially like if you don't like the movie, it's like at least it has an ending that kills her. Like if you don't like her, I don't know. Like at least it has a dark
I
ending.
didn't like her.
Right.
Yeah,
If you don't like her, she gets fucked up at the end at least. And it's
Yeah,
brilliant.
I didn't have a problem with the actors. Like I didn't think her performance
Yeah.
was bad. I didn't like
Yeah,
her
I don't think
character.
she's likable at all. I think she's a
Yeah,
very
I didn't think she
unlikable
was
lead.
likable.
Her
That's
performance is
all.
fantastic for sure, but I think she's a very, very unlikable. And I don't know if she was meant to be unlikable.
So what didn't you like about her?
Well,
Like,
I
what did
mean,
you
she
find
just doesn't come
unlikable?
across as she comes across as a bratty fucking, superstar singer.
Does she though?
She
Does
does.
she?
She does. Like the way she kind of treats
Yeah,
her
she
mom and
came
shit
off
like
to me
that.
as like a pretty toxic person before the accident, and it's like I'm not just gonna give her sympathy because like she got the
She's changing her
opportunity to
life
And
come
around.
I'm not going to say that she's,
I don't know.
I didn't like her because she had a drug problem and stuff because we all probably know people that have drug problems and we don't hate them because of that. It's just it's not their fault, it happens. But like
I'm a strong believer in redemption.
Yeah.
So I've always tried to give people second chances. Because I think that they a lot like, people deserve a second chance. So I relate because like I almost fucked my entire life up. So and luckily I didn't. But I can see how I can see how like I've always said if I would have been super famous and had a bunch of money when I was young, I would have
Yeah, I would probably would have done that too.
Yeah.
ridiculously screwed my life up.
yeah, but I think a lot of
Because
us were like that. Like I mean, when I was, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, when I was going to college and out of college and shit, I was completely out of control too. Like I know if I had
yeah.
money, I would not be around today. I probably would have died too.
Yeah, I probably would have
Yeah.
died. Yeah. So I can relate to that, and I think it is, and the character is it's a weird angle to take, right? Because you have this very unrelatable in a way character because none of us know what
Yeah,
it's like to be a super famous,
Yeah. Pop star.
musician. So it
right.
really alienates 99.9% of the audience. But I felt like the fact that the things that were happening were relatable, like the pressure that your family puts on you, the pressure that your job puts on you. I think that it's relatable, even if you don't know
Watching
exactly
her
that
having to meet
experience.
people, it kind of puts that in perspective when she did the. And then,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like I hate going to these damn work conferences and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Especially if I have something crazy going on in my life, but you have to put on a fake smile
Yeah,
and be
I,
fake
I
while
I
you're
definitely
trying to
understand that.
process some shit that's going on in your life. So I found a lot of that stuff relatable, but I liked it. Eight. Well, actually, I think we're in the 8.5 territory now.
It's
So 8.5.
hell yeah, brother.
All right, number 15. This is a film. People were kind of calling a horror movie, and then they kind of retconned that. But I watched it, and I could see you can make an argument either way. But it's probably I figured it'd be fine for an extended list,
It's a
and that
Cattle
is from
Lake.
the it is Cattle Lake from the directing duo of Celine Held and Logan George.
I was wondering if someone's going to put this on the extended list.
I figured it was fine for an extended list
Yeah, yeah,
because
totally.
Yeah.
it's got some light
I
horror
thought about
elements.
it. I thought about it, but
Yeah.
I was like, nah. I just my list was it was so stacked anyways for myself. So
Yeah, but this is a really well written movie. It's basically a time travel movie, but it ties like events of the past with people in the future, and it does this really cool thing where it like shows you like how it affects like different branches of the family, and then you learn more about like who certain characters actually are to people. It's a very interesting movie, and it also like it has two running timelines. It doesn't tell you that, and there's like eventually it comes together, and it's really cool like as the way it unwinds and the story's told. I really didn't like know where it was going since like you could do anything with a time travel movie and you can make the rules however you want. And I thought this movie brought something fresh. It's very well acted. It's very well shot. There's lots. It's like set in like a bayou or like a down south like type community. So you get all these like really cool like lake and like landscape shots. But yeah, Cottle Lake definitely would recommend it. Really good film. 7.5 out of 10.
That was like
Nice.
the last 8 out of 10 that didn't make my list. So it'd probably be like number 26. But yeah, Cattle Lake was dope.
Hmm.
My number 15 is going to be the Spider movie Infested.
Not Sting, huh?
Yes. So
interesting.
I like Sting. Like I give
I
Infested.
liked Infested more too, I think.
I didn't like. I hated the characters in Infested.
I thought they were cool. I mean, we did I joined you guys on the podcast earlier in the
Oh,
year.
you were on that show?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
were.
yeah,
Sting and the giant spider invasion from '75.
Yeah, we did a
Yeah.
spider zoology show.
But yeah, I like the music in Infested. I did like the characters. I thought it was scary. A lot of fun. Love me a good spider movie. 8 out of 10.
All right, so number 15 is Blink Twice,
All right.
Nice.
or AKA Pussy Island. That title is fucking awesome, man. This is it's a brutal movie, man. Again, going into this, I was like, what?
Yeah,
am I
more
signing-
so than you would expect for like a mainstream, like big, like theatrical release.
Yeah, dude, like this shit gets so rapey. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is
I
going
think
on?
you're supposed to say grapey.
Oh yeah, grapey, whatever. Well,
Oh,
too bad. We
shit.
already said suicide so many times on this show anyway. So even one of our fucking movies has the suicide in the title.
Yeah.
Like that's okay. Anyways, but I thought the performances in this movie were really fantastic. But I really liked the narrative of this movie was just so off-putting and so damn dark. Like where it goes, I'm just like, again, I'm like, what the fuck, man? But performances were really good, man. I thought it just goes batshit in the third act. But like I like the way it's written though, because it gives you like little hints and clues throughout the whole film of like, the dialogues of Channing Tatum and stuff like that about like how forgetting is good and shit like that. And I love stuff like that, man. I'm like, really? Like, where's this going? But really brutal premise, but good film. 9 out of 10. Another one I did actually pick up this year. Had to grab Blink Twice. Good film.
Nice.
Same
Those
with
women directors.
Same with
man.
Immaculate.
Yep.
Yeah, Immaculate. Good shit. So, Tyler, did you pick up Abruptio?
No, I didn't even know I had a release until I saw your video.
So I want to show this because this is actually the return of Anchor Bay. Anchor Bay is back in the house.
What's the logo look like? Unless
Okay, so if you can see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Anchor Bay, but really cool, man. Look at
Is
that.
that just like a Canadian release, or is that a U.S. release?
No,
as
this
well?
is this is US. Yeah. So
I'd like to see a good old Anchor Bay return, man.
yeah, I would highly suggest
Even
this.
if
That's
they're just
something
doing
like-
contemporary stuff.
That bums me out too, because that's something I would have like bought at Best Buy. Like I used to go to Best Buy once a month and just see what they had, and that's something I probably would have bought off the shelf.
Right.
Why don't you get a
But they don't-
Walmart?
Yeah.
I actually, you can look this up. I actually live in the most in the Walmart in the country that has the most police calls.
Really?
Like that would be my local Walmart.
Has the most what?
It's wild. Police
It has the
calls.
most police calls.
So fucking random. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I don't go to Walmart. It's like a super center, and there's it always has a million people in there, and I'm just not doing that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, 9 out of 10 for that one. Yeah.
Sweet. My next film is number 15 here. We got Black Eyed Suzanne.
Right.
Yeah, I thought this movie was really interesting. I remember throwing it on. Yeah, I have that as well. I remember throwing it on and being like, "What the hell? What is this?" Like, I didn't know where it was going. And then also I thought like it was just incredibly awkward and uncomfortable. Like I was putting myself in this position where like if I'm gonna get a job and I have to like have sex with a doll and they have to monitor me and like I have to like beat the shit out of this doll, it would just be so uncomfortable of a job. I can't imagine doing it. So it was really weird.
That's why I think the
watching it.
performances are so good in the film, because it's meant to be awkward, because the whole situation is,
Right.
let's face it, it's fucking awkward, dude. Like, I've never hit a woman before, and if I was asked to like hit a lifelike woman, I'd be like, what the fuck, bro? Like,
It's
Yeah, it feels illegal.
it's too realistic feeling.
It's
to
way
where
too realistic.
uncomfortable.
but the fact of
Yeah.
the matter is, the guy that he says to, he's like, well, we created this technology that like when you hit her, she actually can like bruise up and shit. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucked up, dude. Like,
And
that
it's
is such a
funny-
fucked
it's
up little
funny
premise.
that- it's funny that the staff nicknamed the doll Black Eyed Susan.
Yeah.
But I think that I would like, because this we briefly, very briefly talked about doing this as the featured film on a Sin Bin episode when it got released.
Mhm.
I would like to definitely hit one VSP during the next 12 months, just to have one in there, because to kind of showcase everything that Vinegar Syndrome does. But
Right.
anyway, Black Eyed Susan, they had a pretty good year for VSPs this year. In terms of like,
I know Divinity.
if you count, I guess if you count Street Trash, I mean, it got released on streaming before, the disc, which is technically this month, I guess. But
Divinity
anyway.
had some nominations for Tom's show. I never got to see that one. I never got to see Eight Eyes either. I both those ones I haven't seen yet. So
Divinity almost made my list last year.
There was like the Hellhole, or not Hell, was it Hellhole they did as well, or Hell Seeker something, Hell something?
I don't know. I didn't pick any of them.
Hellmaster or something? I can't remember. What's that?
That was just a regular release.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bleeding.
And yeah, so I give it an 8.5 out of 10. It was in my top 10 for a bit.
All right.
Cool.
So number 14, movie I'm actually surprised hasn't been named at all. And that is from Adrian Bowe, and it is The Vortelock.
I never got to see it.
It was all right. It was better than all right, honestly. It was really weird.
Yeah, it
was a puppet,
strange.
right? It was a puppet, right?
You know what, Tyler?
There's one
I
character
don't
that's a
even
puppet.
have this movie on my master list of everything I watched. So I actually ended up watching one extra movie that I never even put on this list. Wow.
There's one character that's a pupper, like the big villain of it's a puppet.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this is kind of like a dark comedy, like folk tale, and it's like very like high satire. Where I can see people would be like, I don't understand what this movie's going for, especially when they bring in this puppet character. But basically, this is another. It's about this dude that gets lost in the woods and wanders into like this mansion, basically. And he gets stuck with the Voldrock family, and it's basically just another interesting take on a vampire film. This one's got a lot more like intentional comedy, and it's got pretty good performances. It's very like just like satirical and like tongue in cheek, but then it also has like a couple really good sequences of gore with some like practical effects, so it kind of makes for like a fun contrast. It's almost like those moments where it's like reminding you that like you're still watching a horror movie. The lead dude that's like wandering around is just like is having the worst day of his life. It's one of those type of like disaster like movies, and he's a lot of fun to follow around. This movie was really good. I would definitely check this movie out again. This was a movie that for a while, until like the year really started to fill out, was a contender for my top 10. But ultimately we're here at 14, 7.5 on the Vortelock.
Interesting. Mason.
Definitely want to watch The Vortelock. I saw that it's supposed to go on Shudder maybe this month, but
Is that another Shudder movie?
I don't know if it's
I think
Shudder.
you could get it on Amazon. I watched. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon and YouTube right now. I don't know if like it's just streaming there.
I think like it's like $1.99 to rent or something, at least for me.
You know what? This is actually one that I think I did rent because the damn subtitles I couldn't get to work on.
Oh yeah, they were off on MB. I had to download a bunch of different sets of subs to get it to work.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, my number 14 is a vampire movie, but it's humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person. Is that right? Yes.
Yes.
Very fun movie. Cute little movie, but still had enough horror and vampire action to please me. Really love this one. It was fighting for a chance in my top 10. Here it is at 14. I give it a nice strong 8 out of 10. Yeah, would definitely watch again.
Good film.
Yeah.
Well, it was in my top 10, so yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Number 14 is Long Legs.
Long Legs.
Yeah, we talked a lot about this movie. And we're still talking about this movie because we're trying to
talking about it yesterday.
We're still trying to decipher certain things that happen and why they were happening and how they were happening. And so There's a little bit of different theories. I definitely need to rewatch it. I haven't seen it since the cinema. I think we're kind of all in the same boat. We remember it for what it is, and I mean, I really liked it, man. I just felt like it was a more horror version of like Silence of the Lambs. That's what I felt like when I was watching the movie, and I was really digging that. But I mean, some people had problems with Nick Cage's performance and stuff. I personally thought it was really good. That's just me. Creepy. I like this movie. I thought it was really good. I mean, there definitely is some questions that I would like to revisit on, or to ponder while I revisit the film. Again, good film though. I really enjoyed it. Like even the wife, she, all of her client, they were talking about it. Like, oh, you got to watch Long Legs. You got to watch it. So she watched it and really loved it too. So I was like, wow, pretty good stuff. So 9 out of 10 for myself. Another Canadian actually / US production. Yeah, 9. Yeah, that was in my top 10 for like forever. I loved it. I thought it was really fucking good. But I mean, I did have questions about certain things that were happening in the third act and stuff. And I feel like I'm not the only one because we've all been kind of pondering certain things. But so that's interesting.
That it?
Yep. 9 out of 10.
Right. My number 14 is actually the same as Mason's. It's humanist, vampire seeking, consenting, suicidal person. Yeah, or Moodz has it in his hand. This was one that Tyler had mentioned on the show, and the title sounded like something Tyler would watch, but
yeah, it does.
it was pretty good, man. And like what I was feeling the other day when thinking about it is vampire. It made me really think about vampire films, right? Because we've talked about doing other top 10 type things, and Nosferatu also made me think about this. But we talked about doing other top 10s besides the years, and like that's why we did Christmas and Italian films, and obviously we could do genres as well, subgenres. But vampire movies are interesting because they've been a staple, like a mainstay in horror throughout its history, pretty much since the beginning. And it's probably like one of the genres that has been tackled the most in horror history. And it's pretty interesting that over 100 years after the first vampire film, we are still sort of getting interesting takes. And I think that speaks to like the longevity, obviously, but also the idea that you can do so many different things with vampire films. And it made me realize, like, damn, vampires are such an integral part of the entire ecosphere of horror.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really cool. And I thought 12 years ago, 14 years ago, 15 years ago at this point, Let the Right One In was like one of the most original vampire films. And I was like, it's done, it's cooked. Nobody will make a great vampire film again, and they keep making them. So I think that's awesome. And I gave humanist, vampire seeking, consenting, suicidal person, even though it's French Canadian, which a bad thing.
Well, it's the second French Canadian film that was a banger this year.
Yeah,
it's going to be French American soon.
Yeah, no, we're leaving that.
Oh yeah,
that
we're leaving French Canada.
Yeah, the French can have them, But yeah, I give it 8.5 out of 10. It was good. I don't think I talked at all about the movie, but
no, the thing I like about about vampire films is that there's so much lore to it, and like whether you're looking at it from like an Eastern European folklore mythology, their vampires mythology is a lot different than ours. And that's what I like about watching films from like over there versus what over here.
Nosferatu, then.
Like I reviewed a film called I Like Bats. Severin released it, part of that box set.
The Psychotic Women set.
Yeah, and that's the mythology used in that film is because it's like an Eastern European film. It's so different. So when you watch these films,
Czech, I think, right?
Yeah, something like that. And when you watch it from like a Western eye, it's so confusing. You're like, this isn't our mythology. But that's what I like about vampire mythology. It's so different around the world. And that's actually the original mythology. So the mythology used in I Like Bats is like the original mythology. So what we have in the Western world is like our interpretation of vampires, and we kind of created our own lore and our own mythology. So that's why it's a lot different. But yeah, the fresh takes on it. Like I like the one thing I take away from this movie that I thought was really interesting was the aging vampires. Like, I don't know if anybody even mentioned that they're aging vampires. Like she's a 68-year-old teenager, basically. You know, they slowly age. But in a lot of mythology, vampires, from the time you are turned into a vampire, you stay that age. You do not age at all.
So if you get that physical age.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. So if you get turned at 13, you're 13. If you get turned at like, well, we see that in Interview with the Vampire, right? With the kid. Mm-hmm. So you're a kid vampire, or you get turned at 50 or 50. But yeah, you stay physically like that. But in this, they actually age. It's really interesting. Cool take though. I love the whole the friendship aspect, and like that whole narrative is really good. It's really good stuff. So a lot of commentary.
Only movie with someone eating a delicious food truck poutine in it as well.
Yeah, I fucks with some poutine.
Right. And to be honest, if you want the real poutine, you have to go to Quebec for it, because I mean they're the ones who invented it, right?
Off of a food truck, just off.
It's probably the best thing French Canadians have ever done.
I've actually never been to Quebec. It's one of the only provinces in Canada I've never been to. I've never been there.
Wow,
so
I've been to Quebec.
Yeah, I know. Well, the wife has too. She said partying in Montreal is crazy. Like it's a huge party city. So she's like, the parties are fucking nuts.
Oh hell yeah!
But yeah, cool.
All right. I'd like to add an editor's note before the fact check squad comes for me. I Like Bats is Polish.
Okay.
Polish. That's what it is. Yeah. I couldn't remember what it was.
The fact check squad.
So we're on.
It's fair enough.
Someone's like, I like bats.
It's fair enough. It's fair enough.
All right, so we're at number 13. I'm not really going to go on about this film because you just heard me review it like a month ago, and you knew it was going to be on my list. And that is Damien Leone's Terrifier 3. This movie probably would have made any top 10 I would have done except maybe 75. It's just this year was just heat. This year was throwing fastballs. So yeah, Terrifier 3, number 13, 7.5 out of 10.
Cool.
All right. Number 13 was Tyler's number 1, and big shout out to I Saw the TV Glow. This is one that really begs for a rewatch for me, and truly shame on me for not giving it another go. It's one of those where I left the theater, I was like, that was really something different. That was something cool. Can't wait to rewatch it. I felt like maybe I didn't give it the priority because it didn't feel as horror compared to other films, and I kind of wish it would have gone into more horror. But obviously, reading people's reviews and thinking on it more, it definitely does go more into horror than I first gave it credit for. So big shout out to it. I mean, it could turn into a bigger favorite of mine. It could crack a top 10, but I'll give it my number 13 spot with a hard 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
And then I was a really big fan of World's Fair too. So
I was gonna say you really like World's Fair, right?
Yeah, that was
I didn't like that movie, but
I haven't seen that one.
I
haven't seen it. I remember hearing it have some buzz.
Yeah, I actually watched it before the same morning as I saw the TV. I watched it in the morning and then went to see it in the theater. But that's why I thought for sure that this movie was going to be on your list, just because I knew you really liked the World's Fair.
If I would have watched it again, but anyway.
Number 13 is a film released by Arrow, and that's Pandemonium, which I actually do have the Blu-ray right there for that one too. Yeah, Pandemonium, which my case came all fucking broken.
Oh,
damn.
Yeah, weird. So yeah, this is a really interesting take on Comedy Divine. I think
Divine
Parker had in this top. What's that?
The Vine comedy.
Whatever it is. What did I just say?
You said comedy divine.
Divine comedy. Yeah, right. I always do that. I always fucking mess that up. But anyways.
Dyslexic.
Yep. I think Parker had this in his top 10, actually. It was in my top 10 for so long. Also, towards the end of the year, it was in there. I thought for sure this was not going to come out. I really like this movie too. It's got a great premise, man. The opening, like, one of my favorite things about this movie is the hugest Fulci shout out to the Beyond. Like
Oh yeah,
hell
yeah,
is
for sure.
literally Fulci's Beyond. It's so crazy when you
Yeah,
watch this. You go, holy shit, dude! If you're familiar with the Beyond, you're like, what the fuck? That's
yeah, that's a
insane.
cool Easter egg.
Super
Super.
cool, super cool stuff.
Yeah,
But it caught me by surprise watching this film because it opens up with these two characters that realize that they've had an accident, they've died, and they got to make these choices, heaven and hell, blah blah blah. And it's really creepy. It's very atmospheric. This whole movie's super atmospheric. But then it kind of goes into like anthology territory. We get these like kind of these smaller stories and stuff, and then it does this whole wraparound thing and stuff. It's really interesting. But awesome film though. I really like the storytelling, the actual narrative or the actual storytelling. And dude, like the fucking demon in this movie, I love the look of the demon and like some of the dialogue with the guy. He's like, I can't do fucking 40 years here. I love that shit. It was great. Good stuff. But like, yeah, if you're into divine comedy, then you'll really dig Pandemonium. Good release. Good stuff. So 9 out of 10 on that one.
All right. My number 13 is a movie that had I thought it was a horror film, I would have put it on my top 10. I usually will reserve stuff that's iffy or doesn't quite fit into the horror genre for the extended list because I'm not as, you know, I want my horror list to be horror my 10, but once you get past that, I'm okay with mentioning other stuff, basically.
It becomes a cult exploitation list, right?
Yeah. So the film in question is Caddo Lake. Uh,
Right.
Yeah.
it's I think it's great. It's a movie that when I was watching it, I was like, where's this going? Like I didn't really know, I didn't really feel one way or the other about it. But then once like it slowly starts like revealing what's happening, I got super sucked in and was super into like all the way that everything like worked together and how it affected things. And also it actually had like quite a like heart, like it tugged at the heartstrings a bit, you know what I mean?
yeah. At the
Um
end,
yeah, yeah.
and they kind of
And
have like a moment
yeah,
together.
yeah, where you're like you're happy that they know, like they like that sort of wound has been healed a bit. But it's still kind of sad. Um,
Yeah,
Super cool movie, very creative. Not really a horror film, but definitely sci-fi in
yeah. At
there.
minimum, it's like a cool sci-fi, like dreadful movie.
Yeah. So I gave that one 8.5 out of 10 as well. I mean, if I thought it was a horror film, it probably would have made my list towards,
Mhm.
number 10, 9, somewhere around there.
Yeah. All right. On number 12, I got a film that has not been mentioned anywhere. And it's a second film from South Korea that didn't really get a lot of attention, but it is Jason Yu's Asleep.
Hmm.
This movie was a really cool spin on another genre that like you kind of it
Hmm.
reveals itself like much later in the movie. So I
Well,
don't even want to tell you what genre it is because I don't think a lot of people have seen this movie. But it's a really cool take on this. But basically, this guy is living with his wife. Who starts like having like episodes in his sleep, and they start escalating, and it gets to the point where like and he doesn't have any memory of it. So when he's like gets to the point where he's like running around in his sleep and like shouting, and then they have a newborn baby and she's like scared of their baby, and then like as he goes to like the doctor and they try to like figure out what's wrong with him, like it becomes more of like more of a supernatural type thing, and like you learn about a little bit of the history and all that stuff, and it's really cool. The ending of this movie is intense. It had me like glued to the screen because this movie had proven that it wasn't afraid to be dark already. So it was one of those things where like a lot of the time you feel like the happy ending's coming, but like this was like a movie that like you were not certain because it proven to you that like that it wasn't afraid to do things that were pretty dark. Uh, but yeah, I really enjoyed this one a lot. This is one I tried to watch at Fantasia and they denied me. so I was really looking forward
Bitches.
to it.
I'm just kidding.
They denied me for that Witchboard movie too, and that just didn't even come out. So
Yeah, but that never actually did come out, huh?
No, no.
yeah. But yeah, Sleep, very good. 7.5 out of 10.
Dopeness.
My number 12. I'm a little surprised it hasn't been mentioned, at least by, I thought maybe JP might have brought it up. Maybe he will. I'm pretty sure that Moodz and Tyler don't really like it, but a fun theater movie for me, and it's Cuckoo.
Oh, I thought
Nope.
you were gonna say First
I
Omen.
did not like this movie.
Oh, really? Okay, well, shit. I mean,
No, I
Yeah.
didn't like it either.
All
I like
right.
Dan Stevens. That's about it.
Okay. I thought it was a fun little jam, little cool creature feature. I mean, it could have. I mean, it didn't do everything that I hoped it would, but for what it was, I had a lot of fun.
You might be the only one. So if Parker and Tony were on here, I think you might be the only one out of 6 top 25 lists that actually have Cuckoo.
I think maybe Tony would.
You think?
But
Did Tony like it? Because I know Parker didn't really care for it.
I bet it might be on Tony's top 25. I'm thinking,
We're gonna find out.
without guessing, he gave it at least an 8 or a 9.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it.
Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, look.
Interesting.
But I thought it was a cool little jam, man. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. It was fighting for my top 10 spot.
My problem with the movie is like where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it felt like the explanation was like, what? Why? And like, what? I had so many fucking questions. I'm like, it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, okay.
Tony gave it 4.5, so it would have made his top 10.
Oh, okay.
Or
Yeah.
top 25.
Yeah, for sure. So that's like a 9.
Damn.
Yeah. He did say he had like 16 nines. So
Yeah.
Woo.
I have 16 9s.
yeah, maybe it was you that said that, but Tony said he had a lot of 9s.
Yeah.
Really?
And I know he gave Y2K that too, and that didn't make his list, right?
Right.
You know what's crazy about this year though? Like almost every year I have a 10. So it was 16 9s. I never had a 10. Fucking weird. In such a solid year, I never had 110.
Was I the only one with a
I've seen
10?
a 10, brother.
Yeah, I didn't have a 10. I haven't had a 10 in years.
Like
I
how
think.
how
Well, that's
often
because-
is
I
it
think I
list
think
where
I
I'm
think
one
the
with the
Witch
10?
might have been my last
I gave
10.
the Substance a 10. I came up on second
Oh,
watch.
okay.
Man, I've had
Like,
years where I've
that
had a
would have
couple
been crazy
10s.
if I'm the only one who gave something a 10
Yeah, it would
on
be
the
crazy.
list.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, how weird is that, right? Like, oh man, crazy.
You'll end up giving
Yeah.
Maxine a 10, Moods.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
Who knows? I mean, I love it. I love
Special
it.
feeling.
Yeah, Maxine is one of the weirdest movies ever for me, man.
I
was
actually
expecting something totally different and
a
just
10.5.
a 10.5. Well.
Yes, look at make the Hall of Fame.
All right, so number 12 for myself is another really interesting theatrical experience I had, and I was just enthralled in this movie, man. It was crazy, but that's Heretic. I remember seeing a trailer for this one because I had to watch it. It was in the theater, and when I saw that Hugh Grant was starring in this movie, I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't take it serious, man. I'm like, really? Hugh Grant playing in like a fucking religious-based film? I'm like, this can't be any good. Give me a fucking break, man. But going back to what I was saying about like A-list actors or big name actors and stuff, you know, doing these genre films and stuff, Hugh Grant knocks the dialogue out of the fucking park in this movie, man. He really is the highlight of the movie because he delivers it with such conviction. And I love that because you needed someone to deliver this type of message, this type of narrative, this dialogue with conviction because it was supposed to be a thinker, right? I have really not a problem with where this movie goes because it has to go somewhere. He has to be doing something. There's been a lot of questions raised in our chats about, you know, the situation with, you know, getting the girls out of there to make a certain switch and stuff like that. And I mean, I think we explained it away decently enough with that situation. It's a little bit of convenience. There's obviously convenience in it, but then again, I shouldn't say every movie has convenience. There's a lot of movies that have convenient moments and that we do forgive. I think this one is kind of getting shit on a little bit. It's just, there's one moment in the end of the film that really pisses me off where someone is, you know, maybe dead or maybe comes back or something happens or whatever. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? It's so stupid to me. It bugged me so much. Even when I walked to the theater, I'm like, man, it was going so damn good until they fucked that up. So stupid. It's so dumb and it's so corny. It's such a corny thing to do. You know, it's just bad and corny. I thought that was really, so it lost like a whole point there. Like I was really on board with this. like I said, I don't really hate where this one goes in the second half of the film. I think it's really interesting. The games, it's a mind fuck. It's a mind fuck. There's a purpose to it, which I really like. And but the performances are good. It's really good. 9 out of 10 for myself. Good film. Kind of a surprise moment for me. I think this and Immaculate were like the two biggest surprises of the year because I thought they were going to be shitty and they turned out to be really good. So but
For sure.
But yeah, JP.
All right, my number 12 is film that was on my top 10 there for a little bit. And I ultimately decided that it was not enough of a horror film, but it did make my extended list here. So same sort of situation as Caddo Lake, and that is Red Rooms.
All right.
Yeah.
Pretty good movie
This is
though.
going to be around right here.
I will say that Tyler actually talked me up on it a little bit, and also, made me appreciate it more, based on his review. So that did factor into how high
What
it
did
is
Tyler
now.
say that made you go up on it? I'm curious. Do you remember, or are you just talking?
The motivation,
Just
the
like the mentality
motivation.
of the character, about how, just how like everybody in the film sort of like loses everything, and that is like what she likes about the poker and stuff like that, and how that all connected deeper to the plot than I realized.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's like the
in
thing
a sense,
about her.
life is like a huge gamble. Like that's the way she treats
Yeah.
everything. It's kind of fucked up, actually.
That's the thing about her turning into a tape where people are, but then she does the right thing at the end, and like they were confused about that. It's like she didn't care about doing the right thing. She
Well-
just like
Well,
she
does
just wanted
she
to
does a
want-
crazy thing at the end. I don't know if it's the right. I mean, in a sense, it is
Well, like
the
giving
right thing.
the evidence, giving the
The
evidence.
right thing
Like,
would be to turn that tape into the police. You
That's what
know
she
I'm
did.
saying? Like,
yeah.
wow.
Did they ever explain how?
Did
Like,
she?
I know
Yeah,
she's
that's
a
what she
hacker
did.
and shit, but how she
What do you
actually
mean?
got
How-
that
no,
footage?
She didn't. She left
Because
it on the
that was-
table of the mom's.
Yeah,
Right?
she looked at the mom.
Oh, maybe maybe the mom turned it in.
Well,
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's she
Oh,
did
okay.
the
All
right
right.
thing the wrong way, basically.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
know what I
No,
mean?
yeah, you're right.
Did
Yeah,
they
like
ever
a jump
explain in the
step
film
is
how
like-
she gets the footage of like the tortures and stuff?
Yeah,
I know she's a
bought it
Yeah,
hacker.
she gets them on the dark web,
on the dark web.
and then she
dog.
wins
So
the
the-
last one in the auction.
She wins the bidding. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right. No, I meant the other one. So she hacked in and got that. Like it was all about a hacker thing, right?
Or like they were just like they were available.
No,
because
she
the court
didn't.
had
She
them
didn't
too.
hack. That it's the whole point is it's this underground like dark web tape trading of snuff.
Yeah,
And she basically has collected the two that a lot of people.
Oh,
collect.
I'm thinking because she put it
So,
on
like,
that
the
fucking
police-
USB drive. Yeah,
the
yeah,
police already had that one, those two.
yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
there was the missing like third tape that could prove
Tiny
his
one.
guilt. Or
Yeah,
not.
that right.
And she buys it. She wins it in an auction.
Of course. No, I get that. But no, I was talking about like the footage that, the first two and stuff. Okay. Yeah, I always forget about the dark web, how that shit is like, that's the point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, it was man, that movie was really good. It was a good movie.
Man,
8.5
Canada
out of
like
10.
really did kill this year, man.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of good films that came out of Canada this year. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was hearing about this movie like last year playing at festivals
Yeah.
or 2023, and I was really like hyped for when it came out. Like I was like always checking, like, can I watch this movie yet?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heretic
Could
is
be
actually
this could be some of the last Canadian films ever.
Yeah.
like Heretic actually is a US Canada co-production. It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Tyler.
right, number 11. So this is a movie that only I'm gonna have, and I assumed I was gonna be the one that had that. And I thought for certain when I watched this, like there was no way this movie was not gonna make my top 10. But that happened. It's from an entire directing team of 7 people who I'm not gonna pronounce, and it is Uzumaki. This is the anime adaptation of Junji Ito's manga. There's also a live action one. That movie Spiral. I believe it came out in like the early 2000s. That's kind of got a mixed reaction. But this is adapted from the same work.
I've seen that before.
And
Yeah,
Dave,
so
and we
this
just
is-
lost Dave Z. He just fell asleep again.
Yeah, well, Dave, honestly, if Dave watched this, he would honestly probably like it. I swear to God, like there's like a
He
lot of
don't
fucked
like
up
them
stuff in
damn
it.
cartoons.
Dude, when he
bro.
was
I know,
so,
but it's not the same. It's
he's
not
like when
like
Tyler was
because
talking about Minoki, he's like, I fucking fell
yeah, but
asleep.
like
I was like,
I
wow.
knew he was. I knew he was. Well, he's just trolling. He's just being a troll there. But
No, I just thought it was funny.
yeah, he's giving me a little jab.
Dave Z is
But,
a grown man. He don't watch them cartoons.
Yeah.
But this one's in black and white, so it's a bit different. But yeah, basically the premise is this town is falls under a curse.
Dude,
where
Dave Z
everybody-
doesn't like black and white either. He definitely doesn't like this.
Isn't it funny? He's the oldest out of all of us, and he doesn't like black and
Yeah,
white
but,
movies.
like-
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Fuck. He is black
love
and white.
black
He's so fucking old. Come on.
But anyways, it's not like black and white like you watch like black and white movies. It's like whites and blacks. But anyways, people in this town that fall into the curse start to see spirals and weird things starts happening to them. They get like obsessive, where like it just basically this like unpredictable nightmare. A bunch of just nightmare shit basically happens for like 95 minutes. While they try to like find a cure, you just watch this town like succumb to this curse. People do things like cut their fingertips off because they see spirals on it. Like it does some pretty gruesome stuff. I like this a lot. This was excellent. What holds this movie back from me, and the reason it basically lost the tiebreaker to Lisa Frankenstein was this movie took 4 years to make. And the original creators of this got like the first quarter of this done in 4 years. So whoever was producing this, I don't know, it was HBO or whoever it was like, what the fuck are you doing with our time? And they fired them and they hired a new team. So the big issue with this is the first, like, they break it up into 4 episodes. Because clearly they didn't want you to notice this, even though it's 96 minutes. Is the first like episode is incredible looking. The art is so detailed. It's like it's very it's something that like anyone who's just like not being a grump will appreciate, at least like if from an artistic standpoint. But since they fired them and they wanted to get it done, the last 3 are much worse. Like there's a significant drop off in how good the detail is. That like it bothers me enough where it's like I cannot put this movie on my top 10 because it just like bothers me like from that standpoint. But other than that, like this was great. You know, I thought this was gonna make like my top 10 for sure until I noticed that started really to bother me after like I thought about it. Well, I'd still watch this again begrudgingly, but it still holds it back from having a higher score. But it still gets an 8 out of 10 from me.
Word.
Sweet.
Maki. All right, number 11. So between my 10 and 11 was the Battle of the Ladies here. But obviously Maxine won out because it'd probably be the movie I'd watch more often. But number 11 is, everybody can calm down, I got Immaculate on my list.
Nice.
This seems like a Mason movie. I would have been surprised if you didn't have it.
Here it is, yeah. Number 11 is a good spot for it. Best boobies of the year. Yeah, and that ending was awesome.
Yeah, that was a crazy ending.
Yeah, it was like, damn. That was me leaving the theater cheering there. I was like, can't believe they did it. Because right before they did, I was like, they better fucking do this. And they did. I was like, hell yeah.
Nice. All right, so number 11. This is a movie actually I changed out when we were actually just getting ready to record. I'm like, no, I'm I'm going with Die Alone at number 10. This was actually at my number 10 until I pulled a JP. I like changed my list like literally 2 minutes before we started recording. Because I was struggling, man. Like I said, there was 6 films here and I was like fucking going back and forth. I couldn't figure out what to do. And that is Strange Darling, number 11.
Nice.
Again, loved it. I love this type of storytelling. I'm a big fan. I mean, I grew up when, I was at that right fucking age when, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction and shit like that came out, like 92, 94, 12, 14 years old. That shit was so impressionable to me. And seeing films I love films that are told out of order. I like that stylistic choice to do. I mean, if you watch this movie in order, it's pretty A to B. It's, it's got a twist. It'll twist itself, but it's not effective. So I love the style, of telling a narrative. And, the performances are fantastic, man. I mean, Kyle Gallner is fucking fantastic. That dude is so underrated in my opinion, man. He's got the rape stash in this, man. It's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, really, really great performances. I mean, it's one of those films you just need to know nothing about going into it. I was so glad this shit wasn't ruined for me. I couldn't imagine this shit being ruined. Fucking brutal. But really good stuff.
Yeah, that'd be really annoying. 'Cause that's like a pivotal moment where you're like,
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like how JP ruined the coffee table for everybody out there. But anyways, 9 out of 10 for Strange Darling. Really, really good
I
film.
ruined Y2K for everyone, so that's okay.
Yeah. But I think I pulled it out because I was like, is it horror enough? I'm like, I think it's good for number 11. I feel like Die Alone's obviously a straight up horror film. But 2 films with really intense twists. I'll tell you that, man. But
Yes.
good year. Good year. Awesome year.
All right. My number 11, aka my number 1 of the extended list, is actually Late Night with the Devil. One of the few films I saw in the theater this year. I love the set design. It reminded me a lot of WNUF2, just with like the talk show setting
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I really kind of like that format for a horror film because you have like your segments and different things. I like how they had like the classic you know, psychic dude or whatever, and
The skeptic.
the skeptic dude.
The skeptic dude was fucking awesome.
Yeah. And I just thought it was a really fun, unique little movie. And yeah, it was in my top 10 for the most of the year because that was an early title that I saw, and it just kind of fell out right at the end because I think I had more fun with Alien Romulus. So yeah, but I gave it 8.5 out of 10.
Nice. Well, I guess that concludes the 25 to 11 extended lists, right? That's everything.
Mhm.
Oh, did you guys want to get into maybe a couple honorable mentions, or
Yeah, we can go
I
quick
personally
through.
didn't actually do that, but I guess I could just read off my list, whatever. But
Mhm.
You I could say, I suppose, but
all right, Tyler, do you have a couple honorable mentions that
I have one. Oh, well, the ones that, yeah, these ones, like, at any given day probably could have made the list. So my next 5 were Frankie Frico, The Coffee Table, Strange Darling. Oh my God, you guys are going to laugh at this. You're a Monster.
I don't even know what that is.
Really?
Engraved Torture.
I didn't even.
Engraved Torture. I also have a movie that I was gonna include in my top 25, but it's like it's one of those really, really stretching the genre. But this year was good enough that I didn't want to do that. But it's a Netflix true crime doc, Into the Fire, The Lost Daughter, and it's just essentially about a woman who's give her daughter up for adoption and gets a call that we need
I
your
watched
DNA
it.
for this body, and then she finds out her daughter has been missing, that she left up for adoption for 15 years, and she goes to search for her. And it was like there's a lot of like twisted, there's a lot of fucked up stuff in it, and I really enjoyed it. So in a week ago, I would have just included it.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, another good one. It was another good one. I fucking live for the reason why I keep Netflix is for those true doc.
Yeah, there's a lot on there.
True crime docs.
Like I don't like love them all, but for the most part, like I enjoy like.
I've never seen one where I was like, well, that was shitty.
Netflix does.
Yeah, I've never seen one on there that I was like, well, that was pretty shitty. I mean, I've seen some,
I've
some
seen
average
some
ones.
where I was like, yeah, that was all right.
It was all right, but I've never been like, oh, I was, that was a waste of time to watch.
There's only one I saw that was like shitty because it was almost obvious from the start, and it's like they solved the crime in a couple days. So they really like stretched the material thin for what it was obvious. Probably people watching it. So this is stupid. Well, why did they need to
Yeah, why even make that, right? Yeah. Mason.
Definitely got a shout out to Frankie Frico. The movie Stream was all right. In a Violent Nature. A Quiet Place was pretty cool. And then Late Checkout as a low budget slasher with Melissa Rose.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, just going based off of like, the way my ratings are working. I mean, this is just the way they're ordered. It's probably not the way I would order them, but I got Beetlejuice 2 in there. Low Lives I thought that was really good. Outside, I know JP didn't really care for that zombie film. I thought it was actually pretty good. And then the way my list goes, it goes Dear Santa and Cotto Lake and Cotto Lake. But I actually in the middle of this, I have up on the housetop our Mikey Fisher short that officially came out this year. So I'll give a shout out to him. That's an official 2024 release. I think it says 2022, but it just came out. I'll give a shout out to that. It was really good. But yeah, like honestly, man, I'm glad, Mason, you mentioned Stream. Because that shit was actually kind of fun and crazy cast.
Yeah.
Crazy fucking cast in that one, man. But I thought the kills were pretty good. You know, it's pretty standard slasher stuff, but it was fun. A couple other films in the year that I really enjoyed, though, was Mr. Crockett. I thought that was pretty cool. We Are Zombies, I thought was pretty cool, too. You know, I love Sting. I thought that was pretty cool. One of the kind of guilty pleasure films, like I had a really good time theatrically watching this one, was Tarot. That shit is, it's a stupid movie, but it was
not horrible.
It was fun. And the thing I liked about Tarot, though, they actually give you an explanation to what is going on. I thought that was actually, it wasn't just like, okay, we're going to do a bunch of shit and then you know, the viewers are going to have to figure it out. They actually, you know, basically tell you what the fuck's going on. It's pretty cool. Frogman was cool. Yeah. So JP.
Yeah. In no particular order. Because I didn't rank these ones. But I liked Bagman decently. Y2K was pretty fun. Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 was really fun, honestly. That would probably be close to the 25 spot. Shout out Carly with Crackoon. I enjoyed.
Is that considered? I guess it is 24. Fuck, I didn't even. Shit.
Infested and Sting. I like both of those. Never Let Go, I thought was really fun. I know a lot of people didn't. And then I would probably say like Maxine and Strangers. Strangers I enjoyed more than I expected. Maxine, I liked most of the movie.
What about shit bombs? What were some of the worst films of the year that you for yourself?
I didn't see a lot. Go ahead,
Tyler.
I'll give you my bottom 5.
Okay.
Not only one of them might be a hot take. Probably is. I got He Sees You When You're Sleeping. Imaginary. The Life of Belle. I didn't like this one at all. That might be my hot take. Night Swim, and the absolute worst movie, like bar none, I saw this year was Exorcism with Russell Crowe.
I didn't watch that one.
It was awful. Like there was like my Cinemark had like a special deal, like, hey, like we'll give you bonus points if you come and see this movie. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll go see this horror movie and get some bonus points. And I went and saw it, and like it was, I don't even know how long it is, but like I very rarely actually get bored watching movies, and I was bored watching this movie, and I couldn't even tell you like what the plot is. It's so incoherent. It's just a mess. Awful.
Mason, you got some shit bombs.
I only had 2 movies out of the 68 horror films I watched rated under a 6. And those 2 were Azrael and the Glenarma tapes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not even sure.
Anyway.
I actually had 13 films under 5. I'll start read the bottom. Hanky Panky, man, was fucking awful.
Hanky Panky.
Sounds awful.
I mean, Seth Green does the voice of like the Hanky Panky character. Oh my god. But the movie itself was it was really tedious. Really tedious to get through. I mean, this could be a hot take. I've actually seen this movie on people's top 10s. I fucking couldn't stand it. I thought it sucked, and that's Trap. I gave it 3 out of 10. It's the most convenient written film I've ever seen. I thought it was just shit. It was shitty. Another theatrical film I saw this year that was terrible was Night Swim. I gave that one 4. I don't even know how the fuck I should probably change that to a 3. Oddly enough, He Sees You When You're Sleeping and Silent Bite. That was 2 of the 3 films we did on the Christmas show. Those came in at 4s. Silence the Prey. That movie sucked, man. It's What's Inside. I didn't really care for. Black Cab I thought sucked. Bagman was fucking awful. Isling Pines was terrible. Spin the Bottle. Smile 2 and Mads, those were all 4s. I didn't like Mads at all.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I only had 5 films under 5. I actually had only 5 films under 6, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any 2.5. So, um, these are all 2-star out of 5 and below. So, 4 out of 10 and below. I had Imaginary, Silent Bite, He Sees You When You're Sleeping, Night Swim, and the worst film I saw was a movie called Nine Windows.
Mm.
Yeah, I skipped that one.
Yeah, we were telling everyone to not watch that.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall I didn't see a lot of bad stuff. 2 of the films were for the show.
Did anybody watch Last Straw?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
I thought that one was pretty solid, man. That was a good film. I give it 7. It was fun. Just wondering because I hadn't heard it mentioned at all, but it was decent. So, okay. So with that said, let's get into the 2025 preview. We're going to do this via Bloody Disgusting. They have a list called 2025 Horror Preview, over 50 horror movies we can't wait to see this year. Can we wait though? Possibly.
We're gonna have to.
I can wait.
I skimmed through this just briefly. I didn't really even read anything on, but the one thing I took away from 2025, like we usually see when we kind of do these overviews, is like it looked like there was a lot of remakes and sequels again.
Yeah, well, it makes sense that that's what would show up on the list, because if there's just some movie called like Diego or something that you have no idea what it is,
Right.
like it's not really notable.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So JP, you want to take this?
Sure. So January 10th, we have a film called Bird Eater, which I guess should have been out 2 days ago. A bachelor party weekend transforms into an intense nightmare in Bird Eater, directed by filmmaking duo Jack Clark and Jim Ware.
Okay. So is this actually Killer Birds? Could we incorporate this review? Because we never do modern film reviews on 22 Shots. Maybe Zoology that's coming up. We could like do this, incorporate that.
I would
new.
actually love to start incorporating newer films again. Like
It's something that we did for a little, like periodically we would always have like 1 or 2 random, like, modern films or whatever, but we never do them anymore. Like never. Although our Christmas show, it was all modern films, and they all kind of sucked. So
I think we were trying to knock out 2024s.
Yeah. I don't think this has anything to do with Birds, dog, just based on skimming through the trailer.
Yeah, I've just seen a still in it.
Chili Birds.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with birds. No, definitely not.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what the hell this is.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I guess the big movie coming out this week is Wolfman, the I guess second in the Blumhouse Universal Monster reboots. You had the Invisible Man.
Invisible Man, yeah.
A couple years ago, and now we got Wolfman, which is Lee Winnell's take on the Universal Monster classic. Arrives hot on the heels of Wolf Moon, the first full moon of the new year. Winnell's Wolfman leans heavily into the body horror of a man transforming into a monster, drawing more from the 1980s films like The Fly. This is January 17th. This comes out, so that's this week as the time we are recording.
So again, another modern remake of a classic film. We got Nosferatu this year. We're getting Wolfman again. Like, do we need another Wolf? Like, is this just a classic telling of it, or are they going to try and do something? Because from the trailers,
different.
Yeah, I would imagine he does something. Tries to do something different, like he did with the Invisible Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say that I saw the trailer to this a couple times, and it looks very like sort of Blumhousey. But I think that also,
I didn't like the trailer.
With trailers, it looks like it's trying. The way that the trailer was cut just reminded me of like a modern cut of a trailer that's just trying to show you like the action sequences in the
Right.
movie.
Right.
But it's saying that it's more leans into the body horror aspect and like the transformation aspect. If that's the case, I might like it more than the trailer made me think I would, but I don't know.
Yeah, the trailer made it look pretty shitty, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey.
All right. After that, we have January 24th with Grafted. Bloody Disgusting says, if there's one emerging 2025 horror trend already, it might be body horror. Experimentations on a revolutionary skin grafting procedure gets weird and gross in Sasha Rainbow's feature debut. Look for this one to arrive on Shudder.
Is that a guy or a girl?
Looks like a girl to me.
Sasha Rainbow. I don't know the name, but I like how
I thought you meant the girl. I thought you meant the still.
Oh no! The
website.
still is definitely a girl. No, I like this. If there's one emerging 2025 horror trend already, yeah, we've had 3 movies listed, and 2 of them are body horror. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
but I'm down with body horror though. That's cool.
I like some body horror as well. So that one should be coming out here in a couple weeks or a week or so on Shudder. Also from January 24th, we have Presence. Steven Soderbergh's Presence delivers a new spin on the haunted house movie, framing everything from perspective of ghost haunting the family that's just moved into a seemingly idyllic suburban home. Remind me who Soderbergh is.
Soderbergh, he does a lot of big Hollywood movies, but he also does like small experimental movies.
Yeah,
like he made Traffic. He made what's the one with Julia Roberts that won an Oscar?
Did he make any horror movies?
He did Sex, Lies, and Videotape, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Okay, that's the one he did.
Horror movie. He did like 90s thrillers too. He did Magic Mike. He's done like a lot of like crime movies. He does like every genre, but I can't think of
one.
Horror movie.
Was it Aaron Brockovich? Did he do that one?
Yeah, that was the one I couldn't think of with Julia Roberts.
Aaron Brockovich. Yeah.
Naming a million things I've never even.
Aaron Brockovich actually was. It's based on a true story. It's actually it's one of her best performances, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he made a movie called Traffic too. I really
Traffic is cool.
Yeah.
Bubble.
What has he done in terms of like genre films?
Didn't he do Contagion too?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, I've seen that. There's one.
Yeah, I've seen like 12 movies by him, but
that was a pretty good movie.
He did that movie a couple years ago, all on an iPhone, Unsane, like the mental hospital one.
Oh yeah, that was great. I liked Unsane.
Yeah, he's a really good director.
I'm down.
He does like a lot.
I can't remember if I liked Unsane or not. I think I did, or I can't remember. I've seen it.
I saw a trailer for this one, I think, at the cinema.
Bubble?
It's a neon movie.
No, I haven't. I know about that.
Steven Soderbergh experience.
But he also did the shit trilogy of the Oceans movies, man. Those movies fucking suck.
Yeah, I don't like those movies.
Those are awful.
I love Ocean's 11. God damn it.
What, the original one? I hope you're talking about the original movie.
Like the George Clooney and Brad Pitt one?
Oh my god, dude, that's the remake. Dude, that movie sucks.
Oh man. Well, it's fun for me.
Oh, dude, he did
Watch
3 of those
Soderbergh movies.
Well,
yeah, Traffic is good. Traffic got released by Criterion. Crazy. I've never seen Bubble.
It's 73 minutes long. I remember, like finding this at a Family Dollar for like $1.
Magnolia.
Check that out. Yeah, but it's pretty weird.
Huh.
Cool movie.
Interesting.
Check it out.
Interesting.
So, what do we think of Neon so far? This is a Neon title.
I like Neon. I think Neon's been pretty credible the last couple of years. I honestly I think I kind of like Trust more than A24 when I hear like a horror movie coming out.
Yeah, I think Neon's starting to become one of those ones where I'm like, oh, it's Neon. And interested. Immaculate, Long Legs, both of those made my top 10. But then you also had Cuckoo, which I didn't like. So yeah, but
hit and miss.
So this film is a Neon title. So that's coming out soon.
Okay.
And then we have January 31st, end of January here, we have Companion. Drew Hancock's mysterious new sci-fi horror movie is playing coy on plot details outside a fantastic cast led by Sophie Thatcher. Between being produced by Barbarian filmmaker Zach Greger and Boulder Light Pictures and an intriguing trailer we're in is did you guys see the trailer to this one?
Playing coy on plot details.
No.
Like that.
What movie did you say again?
Companion.
No, you know what? I think I did see the trailer for this, but
I just know that in the trailer there's the girl with her arm on fire, just like sitting there. And it's
I did not see that. I don't watch. I tried not to watch trailers, so I wouldn't saw this.
I really don't pay attention to them. So,
like I said, the only time I ever watch trailers is if it's in the theater.
Even in the theater.
Yeah, well, I saw it in the theater.
I mean, I have turned away in the theater too, but I watched the Wolfman one because I was like, I don't really care. So.
I didn't watch that one. I don't really think I watched one because all I remember is the burning arm thing. So I was probably looking at my phone, and then I saw something. I was like, oh, that looks cool, and then went back down to my phone.
But I don't know. It seemed interesting at least. I couldn't really grasp what it was about. So, yeah. But next up we have Dark Match, January 31st as well. Wolf Cop director Llewellyn Dean is back with a new horror movie, Dark Match, in which a small-time wrestling company accepts a well-paying but too good to be true gig in a backwoods town, only to learn too late that the community is run by a mysterious cult leader. And their events is now pay-per-view fight to the death.
So this guy actually had a film in my top 10, which I just talked about, Die Alone. He directed Die Alone. I'm really looking forward to this, man. I love Wolf Cop 1 and 2.
This sounds interesting.
Die Alone's fucking great. I can see that, from the still here, he's using that dude again. He's in all of his movies, like literally all of his movies, I think. So, awesome. Got the Canadian film. Great.
All right. After that, we move into February with a film that I'm really looking forward to, and I actually hope Moodz ends up getting it. And it's from the filmmakers behind Freaky, Happy Death Day, and Werewolves Within. It's titled Heart Eyes, and it is a slasher that takes place on Valentine's Day.
This is not looking good, man. This is not looking good. Freaky, Happy Death Day, and Werewolves Within.
You didn't like Freaky?
What?
Freaky was fun. That was the Vince Vaughn one.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of a different movie. Yeah, that was fun. Happy Death Day sucked.
Freaky was like the better Happy Death Day.
Yeah, Freaky was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Vince Vaughn fan either. I thought it was pretty fun though.
I mean, I kind of got like,
I'm trying to remember Werewolves Within. I know I've seen that one too.
I mean, it's a slasher, which is cool. The killer. It seems like more of like a gimmicky slasher. You know what I mean? Which we haven't really got in a while, other than Thanksgiving, I guess. Would be.
Werewolves Within. That was that comedy one. This movie's fun, man. Werewolves Within. It was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked that movie too.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think this movie looks pretty cool. This Heart Eyes movie. I don't know about you guys.
This is when I half saw the trailer while I was playing on my phone.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'll go see it in the theater for sure.
Yeah, theater watches really helped me last year.
I mean, I'm hoping that his eyes actually look like that, just like red hearts. Looks pretty cool.
Okay, so I think that is his eyes in the movie.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like more gimmicky slasher shit. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I can fuck with that, man.
Throwback. Okay.
Devin Sawa was in it.
Yeah.
Wow, where the fuck has he been these days? Jam.
He did that one movie a couple years ago that was pretty good.
The Fred Durst one.
Andy's doing the child TV show or whatever, or the Chucky show.
Which I think is canceled now.
Yeah, it is canceled. Yeah, because I couldn't even get through the first 4 episodes in the second season. It was horrible.
Okay, so we have February 14th. Also, which I guess would be Valentine's Day. The Dead Thing, which is Elric Kane's solo feature debut, follows a young woman lost in the series of meaningless connections who falls in love with a charismatic and sensitive man who hides a dark secret that turns her affair into a dangerous obsession. I think this one was at Fantasia. I tried to get a hold of it, didn't end up getting a hold of it, but Elric Kane is known for being um a podcaster primarily by probably our audience, which is what is it called? What's their podcast called, Mason? You know?
Who? Elric King podcast?
Elric Kane.
Um,
Uh
I think Mason's
oh,
gummies are kicking in right now.
all the all the colors
Colors
of
of
the
the
dark.
Dark.
Colors of the dark.
Oh,
That's what it's called.
I
Mm.
wouldn't.
But yeah, he hosts that with Rebecca McKendry. That formerly Shockwaves as well was their other show, and Killer POV was before that, I believe.
Hmm.
So yeah, that is The Dead Thing. Looks pretty cool.
Oh,
God, my fucking dog.
Yo, that was scary. I got scared. Sounds like some stuff fell.
Yes.
Am I still good? Do you want me to still continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
We have February 14th as well with The Gorge. Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy
Ooh.
play.
It's
What
your
do you
boy and your girl.
Oh,
That's just credible.
play elite sniper. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, no, sorry.
They play elite snipers who fall in love during their top secret mission guarding the gorge. But there's a strange threat below that will test their love and all of humanity. The latest from director Scotty Derrickson heads to Apple TV Plus on Valentine's Day. So yeah, that sounds interesting. I guess it depends what is in the gorge.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we have February 21st with The Monkey, Stephen King's
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh, yeah,
Monkey.
this looks cool.
Fresh off of this year's box office hit Longlegs, director Osgood Perkins is headed into the world of Stephen King with The Monkey, and it looks like a bloody delight. The trailer all but promises a very darkly funny and gory horror movie ahead. Yeah, looking forward to that one.
Isn't it like produced by James Wan or something? I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, producer James Wan. Yep.
Okay. Confirmed.
Isn't that Neon as well?
Details, studios. I don't see Neon as a studio listed.
It is though.
No. I'm just looking. I don't know if they just like maybe they're just a distributor.
I don't
And
know.
that's why they're
Maybe,
not listed.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you're right. It is, distributed by Neon. Sorry, you're
Yeah.
correct. Okay. So yeah, after that we have moving into the March titles they have, which is just one. In the Lost Lands, the next movie from Paul W.S. Anderson adapts Game of Thrones creators George R.R. Martin's short story. Mila Jovovich stars as a feared sorceress sent to retrieve magical power for her queen, with Dave Bautista as her guide. Dude, I don't know this shit. I saw the trailer. And
I don't think this is a horror movie.
It looked ass to me. I don't know.
Paul, I don't know. I mean, he did make Event Horizon. Right?
Yeah.
Did we already pass the monkey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, now we move into spring with Death of a Unicorn. A24 dark comedy, a father played by Paul Rudd and a daughter, Jenna Ortega,
This one looks
accidentally What?
This one looks funny.
Yeah, it does. Accidentally hit and kill a unicorn while en route to a weekend retreat, where his billionaire boss, Richard Grant, seeks to exploit the creature's miraculous curative properties. Horror master John Carpenter composes the score for this wacky genre bender.
At least the unicorn looks like it's practical.
Yeah, I think this looks pretty cool. I liked it. I like um the people you got involved. You got Jen Ortega in there, who's awesome. John Carpenter
Steve Park.
scoring. It's
Oh,
pretty
you can't go
cool.
wrong with that shit, man.
Then also in spring we have The Shrouds. David Cronenberg's latest follows a
Oh,
grieving
okay.
Oh
man
shit, I
as he
didn't see
invents
this. Fuck.
technology that
I thought this was
enables.
supposed to come out this last year, but I
It's
guess
another
it did.
dark comedy.
Listen, bro, you got to let me read it before you talk. It's hard to read. It's one thing when I'm just talking, but if I'm
Yeah,
reading, it's tough.
yeah.
Um, where was I?
The man he invents technology that enables the living to monitor their dear departed in their
departed.
shrouds.
In their shrouds, while the king of body horror explores death and burials in the shrouds. Expect genre bending to favor dark comedy. Cronenberg really needs to come in hot with this one because his last one was.
Oh yeah.
I actually still haven't
Very
seen
good.
it yet. I never watched it, so
I mean, this sounds really cool.
It's got a
Yeah.
good cast.
and it looks good. Like the still here, I'm fucking with that.
Vincent Castle, Diane Kruger, Guy Pearce. That's really good.
It looks
Yeah.
like they're in a cemetery and the headstones have eyes.
Isn't it weird that all these years David Cronenberg like hasn't done any horror, and then all of a sudden he's like,
Well, it's because his kids are
million
doing
years
horror.
old.
He's got Brandon,
Honestly,
and his
he
daughter
could
did
probably-
Humane this year, which no one ever brought up this year was Humane.
Yeah, it
Honestly, he
wasn't
could
very-
probably get
it
funded
was
for
alright.
horror. Is why.
I liked Humane. Honestly, I thought it was a pretty another film directed by a woman that I thought was pretty decent.
Yeah, it was pretty decent.
I liked it. So
Yeah, but that's cool. Next up, March 14th, we have Opus.
so is A24 putting out like every movie this year?
I think
A-
it's just those are the ones like that are getting picked up. Like we're releasing it this much, kind of like how we mentioned about sequels earlier. Those are just the movies that already have release dates.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
A24
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you typically, the more known studio stuff is gonna.
I guess it's better than Blumhouse though, but
yeah, definitely way better than Blumhouse.
fucking
This
Blumhouse.
Ayo Adebari stars as a young writer in A24's horror movie who is invited to a remote compound of legendary pop star who mysteriously disappeared 30 years ago. Surrounded by the star's cult of psychophants. How do you say that word, Moods?
Sociophants? Yeah, I don't know.
And intoxicated journalist, she
Weird.
finds herself in the middle of his twisted plan. The flashy pop horror movie also stars John Malkovich and Amber Mind Thunder.
Did they just call this a flashy pop horror movie? Is
Yeah, I
that
don't
supposed to be
even-
a good thing?
I literally, that whole thing that we just read, I have no idea what this is even about.
I mean, I get it, but like, I mean, it's got Malkovich in it. I wonder how big of a role he has because I love John Malkovich, man. I mean, the guy's so fucking cool. They made a whole movie about him being John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Movie's fucking awesome too.
All right. We have Ash, March 21st. Ash is the new sci-fi horror film from Grammy Award winner and filmmaker Flying Lotus. On a mysterious planet of Ash, Raya awakens to find her crew slaughtered. When Brian arrives to rescue her, an ordeal of psychological and physical terror ensues while Raya and Brian must decide if they can trust one another to survive. So it sounds like sci-fi.
So another Flying Lotus movie, man. Crazy. When I saw the title Ash, I thought it was like Ash. Evil Dead Ash. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
On a mystery on a mysterious planet. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds interesting.
He's an interesting filmmaker, man. He does some really weird shit though.
Yeah, Kuso was weird.
Yeah, like I mean if Flying Lotus I mean I know Flying Lotus from the music industry more, but like, I mean, the movies are fucking weird, but yeah, fucking weird.
Got Aaron Paul in it.
Right.
That's cool. The Woman in the Yard, March 28th. Up next, director Wame Sarah, who did House of Wax, Orphan, and The Shallows, is the Universal and Blumhouse thriller The Woman in the Yard. No plot details have been revealed at this time.
Blumhouse. Next.
At least it's not like a January, February jump.
Yeah.
It might as well be.
This is gonna get Tyler all hot and bothered.
Ooh.
April 11th, we have Drop, Christopher Landon's love letter to Brian De Palma. Stars
Honestly, though, so many people try to do this shit, and I'm almost tired of it.
Okay, yeah, fair point. Stars Emmy nominee Megan Faye as Violet, a widowed mother on her first date in years who arrives at an upscale restaurant where she is relieved that her date Henry is more charming and handsome than she expected, but the chemistry begins to curdle as Violet begins being irritated and then terrorized by a series of anonymous drops to her phone.
Anonymous drops to her phone, like Texas or something? Drops to her phone?
Like an airdrop or something. I think isn't what that's called.
Oh yeah.
Oh, airdrop. Oh, totally. Yeah, right. That's cool.
Okay.
You have to
April
be
18th.
You have to be a contact airdrop to somebody. So that's an interesting premise.
I was looking at the wrong drop. I was like, how is James Gandolfini in this movie?
No, I dropped.
I realized like at 2013.
Next up, we have The Ritual, April 18th.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino and Dan Stevens star in a film that follows two priests, one questioning his faith and one reckoning with a troubled past, who must put aside their differences to save a possessed woman through a difficult and dangerous series of exorcisms. Feels like we're getting one big mainstream exorcist movie a year.
Are you fucking kidding me? This movie has the most generic title with a pretty generic fucking synopsis sounding, but it's got Al Pacino in it.
Yeah, it's like if you put the Pac-Man in it, though.
So is 2025 trying to do like take these A-list actors and put them into genre films? Like, how many fucking genre films like has Al Pacino really done? I mean, there's a Devil's Advocate. I mean, it's borderline horror.
Yes.
I mean, obviously Cruising. But like he hasn't really done
Cruising
a whole.
was really good.
Yeah, Cruising's amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking at filmography. Everything I've seen by him except those two movies is like very clearly a drama. Besides,
he doesn't do
the other movie.
a lot of like genre and like cult film. Like it's weird. Yeah. So interesting.
Okay. Next up is Sinners, April 18th. Michael B. Jordan stars in dual roles in Ryan Coogler's upcoming movie that was filmed for IMAX. As for the plot, trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. I actually saw the trailer to this one, and it looks pretty interesting. They don't really give away what's going on with it.
I mean, Ryan Coogler's an a director that gets a budget. Like it's probably something like Michael B. Jordan's not just going to be in like some little movie.
Yeah, and he plays dual roles. That's interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it actually seems pretty interesting. I'm curious to see what it's about. Okay, April 25th, Until Dawn. Director David Sandberg, who directed Lights Out, Annabelle Creation, and Shazam, helms an adaptation of the popular horror video game series where a group of friends are attacked by a masked maniac during a weekend getaway in the mountains. Peter Stormare from Clown and John Wick 2 will reprise his role in the movie from the video game.
Peter Stormare,
Until Dawn game? I've never even heard of it.
I think I've heard of it. I've never played it, but it looks like
it's just a straight up slasher film. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like the game is inspired by slashers, so that's kind of funny because then this it's
and then the movie's inspired by the game.
Yeah, right. Became a game
full circle.
that became a movie that was inspired by a game that was inspired by movies.
Definitely a full circle thing. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have May 9th with Clown in the Cornfield, which is a popular
I just love the title, dude. That's awesome.
it's a popular young adult novel series. Carly's read the first two. I think the third one just came out. But it's very popular. I keep seeing it everywhere, so um that's pretty. I'm sure it's going to be like more geared towards kids because it's a young adult novel thing.
Mm.
Get ready to meet Friendo, author of Adam Cesar gave rise to new slasher villain and horror novel Clown in the Cornfield, and the horror movie adaptation is on its way. A fresh start in a quaint town of Kettle Springs turns into a herring bid for survival when tensions between generations boil over and a killer clown arrives to call the playing field.
What was the last killer clown besides fucking the obvious? But like,
It.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
what the question was.
we've reviewed quite a few shitty ones, but like, I think my last like big favorite one besides the bigger ones was probably Stitches.
No, Clown.
Oh yeah, Clown.
Clown was after Stitches.
It just came after, right? Yeah, it was just a little bit after.
Yeah.
Clown was good, yeah.
Yeah, Clown was good. Yeah, I liked Clown. But I'm down with a new clown movie. I mean, it's kind of funny because cornfields are creepy and clowns are creepy. It's like put a clown in a cornfield.
What was that shit fucking show that we did, man? What was that? I mean, I know it was Clown NATO, and then there was
Gags the Clown and Wrinkles the Clown.
Oh, those movies sucked.
Yeah,
Clown NATO was the best one.
Clown NATO
was my favorite. Clown NATO actually was okay. It was so fun. It was fun. Everyone hated it, but I liked it.
Next up is an IP that I am super excited is finally returning because I will watch these forever. May 16th with Final Destination Bloodlines.
See, I've never. We've talked about this many times on the podcast. And I'm like, the great return of Part 5 was cool because not only was it way fucking better than the shitty ass fourth one, but they changed the rules to the point where it was like really fresh. It was really cool for Final Destination. What took them so long to make another one? I don't get it.
I know, and I'm pretty sure 5 was actually like kind of successful too.
It was successful. We even looked up the numbers, I think, one time, and like it did well. Like I don't get why the movie didn't come. Like this is a lot. Like what year?
I feel like this type of movie would smash with Gen. What are we on? Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Yeah. Like I feel like this kind of movie is stuff that Gen Z likes.
Maybe it's because the first one came out in a different gen. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea, but like it just doesn't make sense to me how when a franchise is making money, why not continue it? Like this is one that it was always a head scratcher to us. It never made any sense.
And honestly, like the series is pretty solid. There's 4 good
They're
ones.
all like 100% pertaining. Like not pertaining.
Yeah, the fourth one has some decent, but the whole movie sucks. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, the fifth one's cool, man, because like I said, they changed the rules. I wonder if they're going to continue along the same rule changes in this one. I hope so. But it's called Bloodlines. So are they going to take this like as a prequel thing? Like, is this like the origin, or is this just?
I'm kind of wondering how it's. Yeah, I'm wondering.
What does Death need an origin story? That's silly.
What's that?
What does Death need an origin silly?
Right.
I don't know even how you do an origin story, really.
Right. Like,
how
does this get started?
Technically, the last one was an origin story.
Right. Kind of. Yeah.
It's not like it's a curse or something. Like.
But yeah. So, Death is back with the innovative, elaborate kills for those who manage to escape the grasp in the 6th entry of this popular horror franchise. Late horror legend Tony Todd is also expected to return as William Bloodworth, a mysterious character who has a history of making appearances in the franchise.
Post-human or posthumous or however you want to fucking pronounce it.
I think.
Posthumous. Rest in peace to Tony Todd, man. That's awesome that he's actually in this. That's pretty cool. So
yeah, which I'm just curious, like what the event is, like the first one it was a plane, the second one it was the highway, Third one, roller coaster. Fourth one,
Racetrack.
race track for some reason.
Yeah.
And the fifth one was bridge.
Bridge.
So
The
what's
bridge.
what's the big disaster that's gonna happen, you know? But yeah, anyway, next up, May 16th with Hurry Up Tomorrow, Grammy winning and Oscar and Emmy nominated artist The Weeknd is set to expand his musical universe with a feature starring role in a psychological thriller.
What the fuck?
Plot details are scarce, but the film concludes The Weeknd's artistic trilogy, completing the journey that began with After Hours and Dawn FM. It
What?
Comes at Night director Trey Edward Schultz directs.
I got
Jenna
lost there.
Ortega and Barry Coogan also star. I think
Come
we
Oh,
got
Barry Keoghan. Yeah.
What the fuck is completing the journey that began with After Hours and Dawn FM? What
Are
is
you
that?
talking about his albums?
I think those are his albums.
Oh, okay. So I'm not familiar with the album
I
titles.
guess
for
the
Weeknd.
movie's going to complete the trilogy of the art.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I was thinking like a trilogy of like artistic, things, not just two albums in a movie. Okay, never mind. I interpreted that differently. Jenna Ortega and another film. Fuck,
Yeah, she's
all over the place.
she's the new Scream Queen, bro.
Got my
Yeah.
boy Barry.
Yeah, and it does have a good director.
Yeah,
It comes
he
the next
made a
good.
movie. He made a movie, Krisha, that's like really fucking good too.
Yeah. This we skipped 28 months later for I don't know what reason. that
So
annoys
explain
me.
this to me. It doesn't make any sense.
I guess they just wanted to.
But I mean, it could be post-apocalyptic, like after 28 months, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
but I think they're like, we're gonna go even further.
but I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess because it's been 28 years since the movie, or has it been 28 years?
No, it hasn't.
No.
No, not even
Yeah,
close.
I don't know. It's like weird.
Yeah.
I guess maybe because he was just annoyed. Everybody kept saying,
Oh, it
"Where's
says the
28
first sequel in a
months?"
planned new trilogy. So they're actually going to go for like gold on this.
Oh,
Wow.
God. So director Danny Boyle reteams with writer Alex Garland on 28 years later, the first installment in a brand new trilogy that'll continue in 2026 with Nia DaCosta's 28 years later, The Bone Temple. The Bone Temple? What the fuck does that have to do? What is the Bone Temple? What?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know what they're really going for with this. I revisited those films a couple years ago, and they hold up. They're pretty good. I think so.
Yeah.
Megan 2.0, June 27th.
Oh God.
Good
Obviously,
Lord.
the sequel. To
Couldn't
Megan.
stand the first one. Hated the first one, actually.
I like the first.
It was so fucking generic, dude. Ugh, fuck.
one. It was fun.
So generic.
Okay, so Jurassic World Blood Rebirth, July 2nd. I mean, it's just another Jurassic. I haven't watched a Jurassic Park movie since Jurassic Park 3.
Same.
No,
Yeah.
I probably would like them, honestly. I don't know. I just never really.
I think I watched the first new Jurassic Park one. I haven't seen anything after that, though. But
I mean, dinosaurs are fucking cool, dude.
yeah.
And I know it's just like big budget Hollywood shit, but sometimes that's fun.
Mhm.
I don't know. I maybe I should watch those one day. I don't know. July 18th. This is one for Moodz. A legacy sequel of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Mason wakes up to that.
Oh my God, dude.
He's like, yeah.
I mean, a legacy. Dude, this whole thing, man, is like Megan, fucking Jurassic World. Fuck off. And then I Know He Did Last Summer, legacy sequel. This is this is the worst run of films ever, Fuck.
Yeah, but what about like? Aren't you excited to see Freddie Prinze Senior back?
Senior. He is fucking senior now, isn't he? He's totally fucking senior.
Mr. Salt and Pepper here.
So what's the play? Oh, it hasn't been revealed. So as being a legacy
Yeah,
sequel,
but apparently, oh, sorry, go ahead.
so they're making this is a sequel to the original film, right? Is that
Yeah,
how
I
it
wonder if they're gonna like continuity wise if they're including part 2.
because
I feel like
part
they
2
have
does have
to.
continuity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It has different
Part one.
characters, but it
Part
has
three.
continuity, though, right?
No. Part 2 has the same characters.
Yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt's in it. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in it. Everybody
Well,
else
there's
is
only a
dead.
couple recurring characters because like everyone dies in the first one.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
else is dead.
Actually, there's like 3 people survived in, or did she die in?
No.
Sarah Michelle Gellar dies in the first one.
No,
So
I'm
is
talking
Ryan
about
Phillips.
the black girl. in the
No, I
second-
don't think she dies. I don't think she dies.
Brandy.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I can't remember if she dies or
Dude,
not.
we even reviewed these on the pod. I can't remember either. But like,
I've watched that
I
movie
remember
so many times too.
I remember arguing that the second one was worse than that was terrible, and I actually like the third one better than the second one. You're like, oh, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, you are stupid.
I thought the second one.
I imagine they
the
ignored
sequel is
third one's
horrible.
existence.
Yeah, the
It's-
third one's like a just like
It's a one-off. It's like a name and only sequel kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I thought it was just better because like the sequel to
it
the first
completely
film I
like
thought sucked.
changes the lore. It's like meta almost.
Yeah, and like the second one is just it's like I felt like it was a bad sequel, to the original film. So yeah, whatever.
But apparently Freddie Prinze Jr. did say that him and JQ are not the lead characters in the movie. So there's
he's-
probably like a group of new kids
Yeah.
or something.
I'm looking at the letterbox, and Freddie's billed 6th, and Jennifer is billed last.
Yeah, so they have cameos.
Yeah.
So he's probably
alright.
a store owner and he sells something, and that's his role.
I heard.
He's probably like a little. They probably actually like put them in or something, but they're just not that involved. You're
He's,
able to
sell-
just kill them.
he's selling
They're
fishing
probably
rods.
just there for like exposition to like,
Yeah.
tie it to
They're
the
someone's
original
parents,
story.
dude. That's what
Yeah, probably what
Maybe.
it is.
Yeah.
It's probably the great grandson of Ben Willis who's like coming back to murder their kids because he knows what they did last 20 summers ago.
Makes sense.
But anyway, Beneath the Storm.
What's
August
a fucking
1st.
year without a mainstream fucking shark movie? We got a Norwegian
Right.
film.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the guy that did Dead Snow. Fucking rights.
Yeah, Dead Snow and Violent Night and Hansel and Gretel Witch
Right.
Hunters.
I actually kind of like all. of
Is
stuff.
headed into the open water shark attack horror movie that stars Phoebe Dynevor and Whitney Peak.
Nailed it.
And dude, I'm bad with names.
Don't even continue along this line because
Yeah,
there's some more here.
I feel you. I mean, it looks kind of practical there if that's a screenshot from the movie.
Yeah, that kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh shit! Fuck! That scared me. I just scrolled down and saw the next picture.
Oh, there you go.
Dude, because August 29th, this movie still scared me.
Oh, I missed this
Fucking
actually when I scrolled
all
through. I didn't
these-
even
all
see.
these years later. Insidious, dude, it actually jump scared me. A screenshot of the first Insidious film, the Darth Maul looking dude standing behind Patrick or whatever.
Yeah.
I just got jump scared by a picture.
Yeah.
Insidious 6, not to be confused with the previously announced and updated spin-off thread in Insidious Tale, a new installment in the popular supernatural franchise set to arrive this summer. Dude, this fucking franchise is never ending, man.
Yeah.
I
It's
thought they
like,
were done on the 5th one.
I keep thinking it's over, and they keep coming.
so what are they gonna? Is this interesting?
I have no clue. I really liked the last one.
I thought the
Yeah, I
last
thought the last one was good.
Honestly, I don't think they've really actually missed in the franchise. I think what was it? Part 3, I think, is the weak one. Yeah, part 3, I think, is the weak one.
Yeah, that's the one Tyler got totally wrong about the lead.
Yeah, I
being
thought it was
Jenna
General
Ortega.
Ortega.
Yeah, part 3 is definitely the weakest one because I leading up to the last one, I watched the first 4 because I hadn't actually seen part 3 and 4, and yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I
definitely
think
weakest
that
one.
I would like to do that franchise one day.
Yeah.
They're getting there's getting a lot of
Well,
them.
that's weird. Speaking of fucking what's his face here, we got the Conjuring Last Rites. Another.
I thought they were fucking done with those.
So apparently this is the last one. I read a
This is the
different
last
article
one, yeah.
and they were talking about like this is the last time that they're doing a Conjuring film. So
Yeah.
I didn't even see The Devil Made Me Do It yet, which I've seen Did you guys watch the Netflix documentary, The Devil Made Me Do It or whatever?
No.
No.
Oh, it was. I from what I've heard, I haven't seen the movie, but from what I've heard, it was better than the actual movie. So
You know what? I did not really care for The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah, me neither.
And
Yeah. The story's
I
interesting. The real life story is interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, is it the same story that the movie is?
Yeah, so the documentary, they did a whole documentary about the actual story, and it's pretty interesting actually. But like I said, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't comment on that. So,
I I didn't like The Nun 2. I mean, I haven't
Oh
soulless,
really
God,
fucking
loved
that
any.
was
soulless.
that was a slog.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Oh god, that movie's so bad.
Um, I mean, I haven't really liked one of the Conjuring movies since the last Annabelle movie, I
I
think.
actually only like the first Conjuring, and I think yeah, the last Annabelle film was really good too, and that's it.
The last two Annabelle films were good.
Yeah, I mean they were better. The first one sucked, man. But like honestly, everything else, like the La Llorona or whatever, like that movie sucked.
Yeah, La Llorona wasn't good.
I never even saw that one.
I didn't like the
What was-
Nun movies. What else is in the franchise?
I like the first Nun movie a lot.
I wasn't a fan.
There was one other one I thought too, right? Wasn't there like another? I can't remember.
Like I said, I haven't
Doesn't
seen The
matter.
Conjuring 3, so yeah.
Yeah, but apparently Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are back to do another Conjuring film. I feel like they pretty much have given up on that Conjuring verse or whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem very
I don't
important.
think people are interested in these because all these sequels
keep
and all these
putting out
things, all these
stinkers.
spin-offs are shitty. They're shitty.
Yeah, they're all getting like panned, so people are just like, yeah, we're done with
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Him, September 19th, previously titled Goat, Justin Tipping's sports-themed psychological horror movie centers on a promising young athlete who is invited to train with the team's retiring star. Is described as a blood-chilling journey into the inner sanctum of fame, power, and the pursuit of excellence at any cost. Jordan Peele produces. That sounds interesting.
I can fuck with that. I mean, sports and horror. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm fucking with that.
baseball horror volume 2. Let's go.
Is that what it is? Does it say
No,
baseball?
I think it's shooting hunt speed
Oh, it's like triathlon or
rifle,
whatever. Shit.
rifle.
Yeah.
Next up, September 26th, The Bride. Director Maggie Gyllenhaal is bringing iconic Bride of Frankenstein back to life with Jessie Buckley as the titular bride. Christian Bale stars as a lonely Frankenstein who travels to 1930s Chicago to seek aid of Dr. Euphorius in creating companion for himself. The two reinvigorate a murdered young woman, and the bride is born. She is beyond what either of them intended. Intriguing, combustible romance.
So period piece.
Attention to the police and the attention of the police and the wild and radical social movement. I don't know. I guess it's a
It's
Bride of
another
Frankenstein thing.
Bride. I mean, they've done these before. Did you ever
Yeah.
see the one with Sting?
No, oh my
The Bride?
God. Oh,
The Bride?
no, yeah, I never
Yeah,
saw
I
that.
have seen that.
I've almost bought that from Scream Factory
Yeah.
multiple times, but I never
That
watched
movie's
it.
boring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of boring actually. But Christian Bale, well, return to
Yeah.
some genre films. Okay, cool.
Yeah. September 26th, film I'm pretty excited about. That is Saw 11, which
Not
has an
excited at all.
April. Did you not like Saw 10?
Okay, so Saw 10 was kind of interesting because, like, again, it was like a legacy sequel.
Yeah,
So,
well, not really.
I mean, well, no, it's not legacy, but like it takes place between 1 and 2. Is that what it is? Yeah, 1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I like that aspect of it. It's kind of cool. So what's this one? Give us a synopsis.
What do you mean? They're all the same. What do you mean? What's this one?
Well, no, where's it taking place? Is it taking place between 2 and 3, or another one between 1 and 2, or who knows? Like, I think the story's better in that time period.
It literally has no plot details.
Okay, so like I like this like the storyline in the early parts of like the Saw films. I find more intriguing than the later one. Like, you know what I mean? But
yeah. After that, we have Hell House LLC Lineage. So not only is our trilogy show like outdated, but it's outdated again.
So yeah, no, two more.
Yeah, so we might as well wait for another.
So this
one
is
to do.
another prequel. Like this is another backstory story.
Yeah, I guess so. The popular Halloween found footage series is back with what could be the final entry. The installment will continue a deeper dive into the backstories of the various characters within the franchise while introducing new characters and storylines, and you can watch these first trip. Fuck, that's
kind of interesting that they're going to dive into the actual characters a little bit more. That's interesting. So,
Hey, look, it's a clown and a
so I wonder
cornflake.
where it takes place. I wonder if it takes place after the third one, and then they're just going to tell a story, or if it's actually like an origin story because we already got the prequel. I'm confused. Like, what the fuck? I don't know.
All right, and then we have October 17th, The Black Phone 2. Forgot they were doing this. Ethan Hawke will be back as the Grabber in Scott Derrickson's sequel alongside Mason Barnes. That I can't see, I'm blind. I'm not reading the names. No, while no plot has been revealed, it is it's basically a sequel to The Black Phone.
Okay. Well,
Which I don't really I can't remember. Didn't it kind of end like?
yeah, I'm a little bit confused on that, to be honest.
Maybe
But
it'll probably be a prequel.
but I think that you could do something with the way it ended, though. I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Begonia
This one looks cool.
in November. November 7th. This is Yorgos Lanthimos.
Gotta be Greek. Gotta be Greek.
Is Begonia, an English language remake of 2003's Korean genre bender Save the Green Planet, with Ari Aster producing. Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons star in a film that follows a man who kidnaps his boss, believing that the alien invasion is imminent. I've
never seen Save the Green Planet before. Have you seen it, Tyler?
He's not here.
Oh, fuck. I had my screen
up. That's why I looked over when I said Yorgos Lanta, whatever, because I figured he would have.
Yeah, I think that dude's Greek. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, isn't that the guy that did
Poor Things and fucking? I think he did Kinds of Kindness this last year. Fucking...
Yeah, I feel like I know the name.
No, I do. I know the name.
Yeah, Poor Things. Killing of a Sacred Deer. That's where I knew him.
That's
from.
the dude. Yeah. And he did the lobster, right? He did the lobster.
The lobster. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just didn't want to say it and sound dumb, but yeah.
And Dogtooth, of course. Yeah, Killing a Sacred Deer. Right. The fucking Greek dude.
After that, November 7th, Predator Badlands. The Predator franchise returns to the big screen in November with Prey director Dan Trachtenberg's new entry. Ella Fanning stars, but she's not to be the hero of the story. The Predator is. That's right. This is the first franchise installment to make our favorite alien hunter the story's hero. I don't like that.
Dude, that's fucking stupid, dude. The Predator's the fucking bad guy, man. That's the whole point.
Oh, man. This is like Puppet Master 4 and 5.
Dude, this is so... Okay, skip. That's... Oh, my God. Really?
Dude, I was really excited because I liked the last Predator movie. What was it called?
Prey.
Prey. Yeah,
Prey was good.
It was pretty good, and I was like, okay, this I like this where this is going because the Predator before that, Predators or whatever, I didn't like so much.
I like this next one. November 7th, we got the Running Man remake, and it's just a still from the original Running Man. So Edgar Wright is directing a new take on the Stephen King's Running Man, with Glenn Powell set to star. The plot is
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell. So the storyline's literally the same thing. The plot sees a falsely convicted policeman forced to participate in a TV game show where convicts must battle for their freedom. Really? So
I wonder if it'll be more like the book though, because like the movie and the book are like not close.
Yeah, no, they're totally different for sure. But Edgar Wright's directing this. It's interesting. I hope it doesn't get like super comedy because actually,
Carl Glusman's in this too.
This is like a sore spot for me, man, because like The Running Man is my favorite Arnie movie. So the remake of my favorite movie. So
Moodz, take over.
This cast is stacked though.
All right. December 5th, we've got Five Nights Five Nights at Freddy Part 2. Did you guys like the first one?
I mean, like, I'm not gonna say like it was my favorite or anything, like, but it was like all right for what it was, I guess.
Oh man. So I walked into the theater and I was like the second person in there. And this like fucking totally geeky kid, he turns around and he's like, "Hey man," he starts talking to me about Five Nights at Freddy, and I'm like, "I'm just here because I'm a horror fan." And I'm like, I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. Yeah, I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about, man. And he kind of looks at me like, "Oh, you're an idiot." Whatever. I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but I was expecting a little bit more. I thought it'd be a little bit more fun, but it did well.
The movie was kind of a mess.
Yeah,
I'll definitely say that.
The thing that sucked, man, was like there was so much potential to have like great kills and stuff, and like it just doesn't deliver on that. Like if you're gonna make a rated R film, go all out, So
it was the highest grossing horror movie of the year, I believe, that year.
Well, of course, because everybody that was into Five Nights at Freddy that was younger went and saw this film and probably was disappointed. Yeah. They're like, "What the fuck is this?" But
that's incredible. That's
so I bet you the sequel bombs because none of those kids they're not going back to see this one. Anyways, December 25th, we've got the remake of Anaconda. That's right. I said the remake of Anaconda. Wow, the crowd's going crazy.
Ooh. That's because JP's not here. He'd be going crazy.
So what does it say here? They had to bring for Paul Rudd and Jack Black star. Oh my
God.
So this is a straight up comedy.
This is gonna be like some action comedy, yeah.
Paul Rudd and Jack Black are the stars of this shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude. What the fuck?
Okay, I bet you by the time it comes out, like Kevin Hart will be in it too.
Why would they have this movie come out Christmas Day?
Because they're probably not done with it. And it's probably a pile of shit, and they need all year to fix it.
Fuck, that's horrible. All right, so also on Christmas Day, we got The Housemaid. So in Paul Field, I don't know, suspense thriller. Oh, The Housemaid, which that was cool. Which adapts whatever best-selling novel. Sydney Sweeney plays a Mark in the first. Okay, yeah, but a new employee is played by Amanda Seyfried. And fuck, all these names are just annoying. Harbor secrets that are far more dangerous than their own. Yeah, you guys like The Housemaid?
Amanda Seyfried's on it. That's kind of cool. Sydney Sweeney. Well, I'm trying to find this one. I can't even find this one on
The Housemaid. It was cool.
Oh, here it is. Paul Feig. Oh, Paul Feig directs this. Oh, this guy made Bridesmaids and like The Heat.
But The Housemaid, that was
yeah, dude. This is gonna be like this is gonna be some sort of comedy.
Oh fuck! I'm thinking of I thought it was like a remake of The Housemaid. Okay, never mind. Different fucking
movie.
Crazy. I thought it was literally a remake of The Housemaid. I'm like, it's the same title.
This is the guy that directed like Bridesmaids, The Heat, the Ghostbusters with the women that everybody hated.
Oh my god. Okay, next. And then we got the.
What did you guys say about the Anaconda?
We laughed because I realized that Paul Rudd and Jack Black are the stars in that film.
Yeah.
So that movie's gonna suck. So late 2025. That's what we got for a date. Silent Night, Deadly Night remake. Yes. So it's written and directed by Mike P. Nelson, who did Wrong Turn, the original, and VHS 85, which was cool.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually being produced by Bloody Disgusting.
Right. So this is interesting. It doesn't really give us much in terms of like cast or premise. If it's going to be straight up remake, if they're going to do something completely different. I mean, personally, we've already had a kind of remake, maybe kind of name and only with Silent Night, but which that movie gets hate on. I don't mind it. It's okay.
It's fun. It's fun.
Okay.
I mean, people act like the fucking, the franchise was like full of bangers or something like,
right. Well, I mean, part 5 is a banger. Come on.
It's fun.
Fucking Mickey Rooney. Come on.
Yeah.
The storyline in that movie is so fucking stupid, man. Like the reveal in that movie is so stupid. So dumb.
Yeah. More good.
We got a movie called Bring Her Back, to be announced. A24 and Talk to Me filmmakers Danny and Michael Philippi are reteaming on the original horror movie Bring Her Back, starring the Shape of Water lead Sally Hodkins. Plot details are rare.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. another A24. Fuck, man, so many movies.
Yeah, that she was pretty good. That woman in Shape of
So
Water.
she's a good actress. I've seen her. She's on a lot of English movies.
Yeah. Die My Love to be announced. From up next from director Lynn Ramsey. We need to talk about Kevin.
Lynn Ramsey.
Wow, we need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Ooh,
You Were
she's
Never
a good
Really
filmmaker.
Here.
That movie's dumb as shit.
Is a psychological thriller Die starring Jennifer Lawrence. The adaptation of the 2017
J-Law.
novel follows a mother battling with psychosis. Okay, that's interesting. So I can see where this is going already.
Indeed.
Oh, I'm excited for this because I really like the.
Sissy Spacek and Lakeith Stanton are in it too, and Robert Pattinson. Oh, Nick Nolte's in this. This is awesome.
Oh, they didn't give They should have given someone's names in that. I really like the Fear Street trilogy that came out a couple years back. I'm a big fan of those films, so I'm excited for this. Fear Street Prom Queen.
Which Prom Queen is one of my favorite of the Fear Street novels. So
Yeah, me too, man.
I like that.
Fuck, I wish I still had I gave all my Fear Street books to my sister, and she fucking threw them out.
What?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, she fucking threw them all out. I was like, I had all of them. I had like that whole run. But yeah, Netflix previously announced it's coming back to Shadyside. Okay, yeah, anyways. But yeah. And so this one's actually based on the book. So that's kind of cool. I like that. Freywaka?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce that? Freywaka? Up next from Alison Clark. Man, so many female directors. The Devil's Doorway is an Irish language horror movie that follows home care worker Shu, who is sent to a remote village to care for an agoraphobic woman who fears the neighbors as much as she fears the Nashidi, sinister entities who believes abducted her decades before.
Interesting.
So it's in Gaelic, then.
Nashidi? Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So it's not English. It's Gaelic.
Yeah, it says an Irish language movie. Interesting.
It's interesting.
But The Devil's Doorway was decent. I wouldn't say it was fantastic, but it was okay. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Do we need this? Fuck.
No.
Like, come on, dude. It literally says adapting Mary Shelley's.
Listen, why
come
can't
on,
we get
Guillermo.
like
Netflix. It's for
a
Netflix.
fucking-
It's
I'd
Pinocchio.
rather
Oh,
get-
he's got a
dude,
Netflix deal because he made Pinocchio for Netflix and he did those like curiosity
Yeah.
things.
I just don't we don't need another fucking adaptation of Frankenstein, man. Like straight up from the book.
I just
Come
feel
on.
like Del Toro. I don't know, man. I don't like poppy Del Toro.
Yeah.
You know, like these movies feel like pop,
Yeah.
like how like pop music is but like pop movies.
Yeah.
I honestly I respect like Del Toro as a filmmaker, but he's like nowhere close to like one of my favorites. Like I'm not really that high on him.
I like want to like Del Toro more than I actually do.
Man,
I just don't see what other people see with some of his movies.
I feel like we're gonna be talking about Del Toro soon again in '92 with this one.
Well, that movie's good. That's when he had no money. He had to like make what he could. And make a cool
Exactly.
movie.
Primitive War. Writer director Luke Spark
Is it a war movie? Oh
Is it-
shit! It's a war movie. I love
is
that.
adapting Ethan's. Oh my god, these names! Nobody can pronounce any fucking names tonight. Testing a military unit's survival skills against an unlikely enemy, dinosaurs. Wow.
Yeah.
Set
I
during the
think I
Vietnam.
might have-
Oh my god, this has every element, man. It's a horror war film with dinosaurs set during Vietnam War. A search and rescue squad instead find themselves dealing with a prehistoric threat. Wow, dude, Vietnam
I'm definitely down.
dinosaurs. Oh my god, dude, this is crazy. That
It's
sounds really-
ridiculous, but I'm down with it.
Primitive War. Keep that one on the back burner. All right, Shelby Oaks. Neon.
There's some, what's their name? Fantasia denied this movie for me too.
Yeah, me too. Have you ever heard of or have we ever done a war horror episode?
We
You
did.
did the. This is the big brain memory. You did that one.
We didn't do a full episode. We did one war horror film way
Yeah,
back.
did
That
the
I've
Squad.
seen- was that
I
I've
did
seen
the
film that we did.
You put out the
It was
squad.
the
Yeah.
Squad,
Yeah, the squad. Yeah, yeah. So
Which
Neon,
was an early
War
episode.
horror episode.
yeah, it was just me and you on that one too.
Mhm.
Neon acquired worldwide rights to the found footage horror movie Shelby Oaks, the feature film debut of writer director Chris Stuckman.
Stuckman.
That's a YouTuber.
Camille Sullivan stars in the film about an investigation into missing paranormal investigators. Interesting. So another Neon film there.
I think it's gotten good reviews.
Tinsman Road, another to be announced. The Outwaters filmmaker Robbie Banfitch is back with another found footage horror movie, but expect a more somber and atmospheric vision this time. The plot centers on a brother seeking his missing sister, and Banfitch promises to vastly different type of horror. Okay.
If this is like a screenshot from the movie, I like the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a VHS tape.
It actually looks like it's in 4:3, the way that still is.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's interesting.
yeah,
The Ugly Stepsister. Great title.
nice.
The feature debut from Norwegian writer and director Emil. Okay, I'm not pronouncing that. Is this another female? My God. We're getting taken over. 100%. We'll give a body horror twist to the classic fairy tale legend of Cinderella. Really?
That sounds cool.
Except this one to be to test the conventions of beauty. Wow, man. Body horror Cinderella story.
I think they meant expect.
They've been expecting. Yeah, that's a typo.
Yeah, totally. But still, I'm just trying to process body horror and Cinderella. That sounds fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Untitled Predator movie to be announced. Okay.
Again.
Well, it's already confirmed that Predator Badlands will arrive November 20th. Studios boss Steve Aspel recently spilled the beans on the second Predator movie that will arrive in 2025. Aspel was tight-lipped on details, except that we have to accept this one to be okay, whatever. So 2 Predator movies.
So one's supposed to be theatrical, one's supposed to be streaming. Hopefully this one actually makes the Predators the villains because
that other one sounds like shit.
Yeah, that's fucking garbage take.
Yeah, VHS 8 to be announced, of course. Yeah. There's no details on it, but we got VHS 8.
They've been coming out like rapid fire.
Yeah. They just do so
for
well.
a while. Yeah.
I mean, Mason's got to be excited about that one. Vicious. Vicious is the latest by the Stranglers and the Dark and the Wicked filmmaker Brian Bertino. Dakota Fanning stars as a young woman who must spend the night fighting for existence as she slips down a disturbing rabid hold contained inside a mysterious gift from a late night visitor. Okay.
Rabbit hold? Who wrote this shit?
Yeah, it's weird. That's why I'm like, the whole writing on this is so hard to read, man, because it's like
They got tired at the end.
it's written so poorly. The highly anticipated okay, whatever. The Strangers and the Dark and the Wicked. The Dark and the Wicked was cool.
Yeah.
So The Strangers, is that the new one?
No, it's
Nah,
the
the
original.
Is that the same director that did the
Dude,
okay.
no, Rennie Harlan
Yeah.
did the new 3.
Right. Fuck,
It's the
totally.
original guy.
Visitation to be announced.
Oh,
The
Nicholas
latest
Pesci.
from Nicholas Peace, The Grudge and Piercing.
And The Eyes of My Mother.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a good. Why didn't they list that?
This is the small budget movie compared to the other two.
Centers on a 14-year-old girl named Maria, who, with her mother sick and dying, is sent away to live under the careful watch of Catholic nuns. But Maria's arrival slowly turns sinister as one of the caretakers becomes enamored with her for all the wrong reasons. Okay.
Also, that was it on that list, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Also, we have the Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, which is supposed to come out as well as the Bambi The Reckoning.
So is it actually like the mom is doing the killing?
I have no freaking clue.
So,
And
no, actually, no, Bambi
I'm-
was the one that got shot. Is that how it works? I can't remember Bambi.
no, Bambi's the kid of the mom
Right.
that got shot.
So
Yeah.
Bambi. Oh right, yeah. So Bambi does the revenge for the mother killing. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. The Strangers Chapter 2, I'm not sure why they didn't mention that. I mean, they're filmed already.
Right.
Yeah, they're not going to just not release them.
And then another thing that I think comes out this year that I'm really excited about that's not a movie is the It TV show,
Oh
Derry
yeah,
or
welcome to
Welcome to
Gary.
Derry.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm very excited about that. I don't really watch a lot of TV like while it's on. I'll probably watch that while it's on.
yeah, oh yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, those are just a couple other that I know off the top of my head.
There's one I know, but let me pull it up because I forgot exactly what the name is. I can't remember. It sounds like a different movie. But there's this movie that's a Korean movie, I believe, that's been doing really well at festivals. And it is called here it is. Dead Town Society. Follows ghosts who want to become the spookiest of urban legends and most successful and famous starts in the underworld through their scare tactics and performances among the living.
Hmm.
It's a Korean film. It's doing really well at festivals right now, I guess.
Oh, I bet you it's good.
Who,
I mean, with this list, I'm like, man. I mean,
Oh, correction.
2025
It's a
doesn't look that promising.
It's a Taiwanese movie, actually. It's not a
Taiwanese.
Korean
Okay.
movie. Yeah.
Mm. So that just dropped it down a couple notches then.
I like Taiwanese
No,
movies.
I'm saying I don't. I'm just saying. I mean, South Korea, like Korean films, man.
Oh, they're cooking though. Yeah,
they
like the
always
last two
put out good shit.
decades. Oh man, like not even just horror either. The last 2 decades they have been cooking.
Mhm.
I'm really looking forward to Dark Match. That movie looks awesome, man.
That movie sounds really cool. Like the whole, I like the poster with the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
And I mean, I'm always excited for a good slasher film like Hard Eyes. I'm looking forward to that shit too. Hopefully
Yeah.
it's good.
I'm really
you know.
curious about the Ryan Coogler movie. That's like sounds really interesting. And
Yeah,
there's someone like
there was a lot of movies that sounded interesting to me.
The monkey, I'm really curious on because I mean, to be honest, I mean, Oz is he's hitting, man. He's hitting for me. So I'm not mad what he's doing. Goes silent. Everyone's like, "Fuck."
Yeah, I guess that is about it, right?
Death of a Unicorn, man.
Yeah, that one sounds cool.
Yeah, so that is the 2025 horror preview. I mean, it sounds promising. It doesn't sound exceptionally. I mean, it's 50 plus films, maybe 60 films or whatever. I'm sure we'll end up watching a lot more than that. Probably not all those, because some of those look like shit bombs, but
some of those probably won't come out either.
probably not.
And some of them
Yeah,
won't
and
even be
obviously
horror.
we'll see a lot more that come out
yeah.
that aren't listed.
Well, like The
here.
Strangers too. Like, I mean, definitely. I mean, I'm more interested in the sequels than I was in that kind of pseudo remake or whatever, because the sequels expands what they do. Like,
Yeah, me
we never
too.
got
I
that in the
agree,
original one, right? So
100%. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, I think that's the more interesting possibility is seeing where they go next.
right. All right, guys. Well, that is going to conclude episode 281, not 280.5,
Yeah.
like I guess wrongly said.
Yeah.
But whatever. All right, man. So we're out here. Mason, thanks for joining us. You're the one soldier that was cool enough to rejoin us,
thanks, Dave.
unlike the other
Appreciate it.
geeks that didn't, but whatever.
Yeah. I believe the next show will be the
Apartment trilogy.
Apartment trilogy, so
Yeah.
Roman Polanski special, if you will. And yeah, so that's it, right?
That is it. All right, guys. We're out of here.
Peace.
Deuces.